Oh, wait. We already have people who joined us live. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome all to this live premiere. Oh, I was thinking like, oh, I'm doing it so late because it's about 18 minutes to 2 here. So hello, how's everybody? Hey, focusing, shout out to you. Story time, Wheezy. How you doing, my dear? Mibaraka, 80 travel wherever you want. Europe is waiting. Wheezy, Simi, mambo rafiki yangu. Poa sana rafiki yangu. Hi Simi, how's Nairobi for you? First, before we proceed, I'm going. First, before we proceed. First, before we proceed, we're going to give it 2 minutes to just allow people to join us more, and then we're going to, have the live stream. But in the whoa, where did it go to? So we have 46 people. So we're going to wait for more people to join us, maybe for the next about 45 seconds before we join. And I'm to confirm, is my audio clear? Am I loud and clear? And is my video clear? I mean, if the audio is not clear, I'm going to remove the video because, what's important is for everyone to be able to hear what we're going to talk about. That's more important than the video. So, hey, Peter. Hi, Sue. Mambo iki kiai. I'm going to allow later on, I'm going to make it open for anyone to be able to call in. The audio is clear, yes. Happy to catch a live stream. Yeah, it's crystal clear. Why are you promoting? I'm going to address that. Willie, don't worry. I'm going to address that. Willie is asking, why are you promoting Asia instead of Africa? Africa needs you back home before you start to lose out. Hey guys, hey, I'm in sister watching from Florida. Anyway, so 25 more seconds. Hey, Miss Jackie, I just want everyone to drop a message and let me know where you are watching me from. Drop a message. Let me see. Let me know where you are watching me from. It's quite late. My lighting is not the perfect, but as long as you can hear me, I feel like that's more important. Niko ndani kama umeingia ndani kama mimba wewe ni mama man. Hello Rashida. Hi Samuel, Mombasa, Kenya. Oh my God, you said my name. So Willie, were you just saying that for me to say your name, or like, Okay, so now we're gonna get into the conversation. I'm going to put a link and we're going to have a conversation. I don't know if I should give my side or my point of view first, or should I just drop a link I get to hear from you, my followers, first. And if you have any questions, I address them first before I give my POV on this, because I've dropped the link. So in case you're going to join in and you want to add to this conversation, feel free to call in. So I'll be in between talking and as well as, putting my opinion on this, because of course I've had a lot of messages. I've even had people email me saying like, oh, now you should become the Asian tigress. I'm like, okay, maybe I should become the wild tigress, because everyone is like, oh, why are you in Asia? Why are you what? But the very same people haven't even watched half of the videos I've done in half of the continent. I've been to half of the African continent. So for me, coming here is not like, Kiambu. Thank you, Peter, Mataxi. Okay, so should I talk about it first, or should I let people, you, my followers, your opinion first? So if you want me to talk about it first, type 2. Oh, Hadija, I think from Sweden. It's been long. I think I remember you from those days I used to do numerous live streams. How are you doing, Hadija? Samuel, I think you tell us your point of view as we can know where to begin. Missing you sana huku Kenya. Miss Jackie, how are you doing? It's been a while. Okay, so Hello from Poland. Wish you only pleasant travels without bad surprises and all the best. Thank you so much, Zach. Okay, talk about it. Okay, first, so I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna go straight to it. So the first thing is I've had messages. I've seen it in the comment section. Ever since I started traveling in Asia, I've had people, talk all kind of stuff about me. But have you, okay, have you ever been at a point or at a phase in your life whereby like you just so it's like you can't explain it, but you just kind of feel content, gratified, and like there's just a lot of things going on, a mixture of everything, like both good and bad, but you just like feel like there's just something positive coming on the way. Like that's exactly where I feel right now. So I've had messages, but before we get to that, let me see how many of you are liked the chat, because I know you are a sellout African tigress. You should rename yourself to. I'm not Q. I'm not going to rename myself to Asian tigress. No, I'm going to rename myself as wild tigress. So I think find a terminology that's going to suit everybody, every continent, and then because my goal is to go to every continent at this point, and so if you can find a terminology that can suit them all, so what would happen when I go to Europe or when I go to America or South America? Will I become European, Asian, African, Asian, European, American, Tigress, Australian, Antarctican Tigress? Because I feel like it's really different now. But before I digress and go the to all this, before I go into all this, let me address it. I've had people sending me messages talking about like, oh, why am I traveling to other continents? Am I promoting other continents? I should just stick to Africa. I shouldn't go beyond Africa and all that. But then I don't know if people are really ready for this conversation, but realistically, I feel like we need to change our mindset about how we look at things. First, I think I've been here about 2 months. Yeah. Is it two? Yeah, I've been out here. Yeah. If I calculate, I've been out here for 2 months. And I have seen and learned a lot. But I feel like as Africans or as Black people, if you're going to put it in our mind that, oh, we're going to limit ourselves to Africa, we're only going to talk about Africa and all that, or we're not going to travel, we're not going to see the other parts of the world, we're only setting up ourselves for failure. So I'm not going to read the comments because they're going to distract me. They're going to distract my train of thought, because this is something like really I've been thinking about. So I'm going to respond to your comments later on. But me traveling and being here, I have seen a lot. I have seen a lot. I've spotted a lot of opportunities and a lot of things that I'm like, this is something that can actually be transferred. This is some sort of knowledge, or this is some sort of business that can actually be transferred from this place and can perfectly work in Africa. This is me speaking as someone who's been to more than half of the continent of Africa. So I know I have traveled, and travel opens up your mind. It's not even necessarily about promoting other places. Sometimes traveling and experiencing this first, even before I became a YouTuber, I was already traveling. Like I knew from the point or from the time I was a child, I was already a very curious child, and traveling the world was one thing I really wanted to do. So YouTube just happened to find me already doing what I love doing. Then, of course, at a certain point, I did a lot of travels and promoting Africa and all that. But for me, as someone who had not had much experience traveling outside Africa, I actually really appreciate the experience and everything that I'm seeing and experiencing out here. There's lots of challenges and all that. But while at it, I'm really seeing a lot of opportunities. And I remember when I was saying, when I was still traveling Africa, I used to say like everyone needs to visit at least one country outside their home country at least once in their lifetime. It can be your neighboring country that you'll just take a bus and go visit the neighboring country, or it can be anywhere else, you know. But at this point, like having been here 2 months, I can't say I've had much experience out here. But of course, previously I'd been to other continents and all that. But I feel like as Africans, we need to travel like really out at least once in your lifetime. Travel out while you're having fun, while you're enjoying it, while, you know, having all the good time, not the opportunities and businesses that like things that you can replicate in Africa. But if you're gonna have that mindset and close your mind and be like, okay, so I'm gonna pull myself, the only thing I care about everywhere, everything about me has to revolve around Africa. I don't care what's happening outside and all that. That is where we have times or moments whereby you find people coming from outside the continent setting up businesses and they doing well and excelling, and on the other hand you're gonna be crying, oh they're coming, oh they're taking over and all that. It's because you're not willing to open your mind. Like if you had traveled and you've seen there's an opportunity that works in the other continent and this is something that you can actually replicate in Africa, you who's complaining could be the one that would take that idea or that business and actually replicate and do it in Africa. You don't do it when the other people or the other people travel to Africa and they say, oh, this is lacking, but this is actually working very well in another part of the world or where I'm coming from. They come, they set up business, they're going to be successful. And at the end of the day, all you're going to do, you'll end up being that person. You always end up just crying and complaining all this, oh, they're taking this from us, or they're doing this, or they're taking up. But what are you doing? Like, you can close yourself and, try to make yourself as an island, but we have to be realistic. Currently, like, the world is changing. We have to embrace change. We have to embrace technology. We have to embrace a lot that comes with it. And as much as you may want to, remain, that doesn't mean like you don't remain true to yourself or true to your culture or true to what. But you cannot close yourself in a cocoon and complain when people are coming, because these people, they're learning, they think there's opportunities. The government is offsetting, like they're getting visas for business and all that. The government is creating, they learn about our government, they learn about the systems, everything and opportunities that they can take advantage of. And they take that and they build businesses and end up successful. And then that's why you find like sometimes you find some people maybe who are not Africans, so from other races and all that, they like 5, 6, 7 generations in Africa. And they're running family business and they're very successful out of it. Why? Because they saw an opportunity. We will not, and personally, I will not be the one who will just sit and put myself in a cocoon and say like, oh, I don't care about what, I'm not going to travel, I'm not going to see opportunities, I'm not going to see, opportunities that exist in other parts of the world for me to explore. When I look at even a lot, tell me one successful entrepreneur. Tell me one successful entrepreneur. Tell me one successful tell me one successful business person that any black business person for starters that does not or has never stepped their foot out of Africa. Just mention one to me who is really successful, is doing very well, and has never stepped foot out of Africa. Tell us, list the business, list the brand or whatever they are doing. Let's see it. When we look at most of the big brands, especially, there's a lot of them that are not really black owned or African owned. But when we look at a lot of brands that like big brands and big businesses that are owned about Africa, sorry, I'm reading your comments. They're really distracting me. Sorry. That are owned by Africans. All those business people, the richest man in Africa, for instance, we have Aliko Dangote. You can't tell me he's never set foot out of Africa and he's limited himself and all his business opportunities and all his business partners are Africans and all that. We can't. I think we need to like really just be very realistic about it. You can choose to play victim forever, or you can choose to take charge, because you can't have control when you don't have take charge. On the other hand, you can decide that you're going to play victim. Oh, these people are doing this, these people are doing this, these people are doing this. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing about it? If you ain't doing nothing about it, then you're just barking. It's like just being like a toothless bulldog, like you're barking, but you can't bite. So that is my take on it. And I'm going to respond to your questions. But before we get to that, let's hear from EK. Hey, EK.
Hey, how you doing, African Tigress?
How are
How
you?
you doing? Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much. You know, I've been following you for a long, long time, from the days of small beginnings at your crib, you know,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah, I know
amazing
that.
to see how God has expanded your territory. You can hear me, right?
Loud and
All
clear.
right. I really appreciate you. Thank you for having me. I know you're busy, lady, and but I love this topic. I love this topic. Actually, there's a time I did when I was just starting. I asked a question, like in the book of Galatians, where Paul says, "Who has bewitched you, Galatians?" So I was asking, "Who has bewitched you, Africans? Who has bewitched you?" Our founding fathers of the nation, they wanted a united Africa, right? When we were struggling for independence, that we had like borderless Africa, because that's how it was, right? And when the power got into our heads, they say absolute power corrupts, right? Absolute power corrupts. Then we stayed into that mindset. Anyway, we'll continue the topic. Thank you for having me. Let me just say, appreciate you. And this is a really nice topic. It's really nice topic. Thank you. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. Yeah. Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
So I know you followed my journey over
Yes.
time. So
Mhm.
as someone who's followed me all over, you were really very supportive. The time that I was traveling Africa and all that.
Yes.
So do you feel in some way that me traveling outside Africa right now is betraying Africa?
No, you're not betraying Africa. And let me tell you, you've hit a really nice point. Like you hit the nail on the head. When you don't travel, you're kind of like locked in a box. Your mindset is locked to what you know, right? And it's not only about Africa. Let's say like here in the United States, right? Like when I moved here the first time, I moved to a small city called Denton, right? And then when I'm a Kenyan and I'm a hustler. I'm from my story. That's another we're supposed to set up for me to tell the story. The mindset was, I know literally Nairobi like the arm of my hand. Like I can literally tell you like everywhere. Cause and when you move around, your mind open up, right? So I moved to this small city called Denton, and I used to look for jobs like and go to different cities. Like we have like about 200 cities in Dallas Metroplex, and I would drive to like an hour drive, 2 hours drive, looking for jobs. And then the people in that city are like, man, why do you have to go so far? Yet we have everything in this, like in this small city. You find that their minds were all like just locked up in that small. They didn't even know there's other parts of like in Dallas you can do this, in this place you can do this, and this. So when we don't travel, like let's say in Africa, right, or we just grown up in a village, your mind will never be open wide enough to know. And I'm sure, like when you're back home in Kisumu, until you started traveling, you started seeing the world in a different way. You're like, oh, you know and I don't think you're betraying Africa. You're just speaking facts, because I've seen you, like when you went to one country, they were trying to block you, da 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 da. The same thing happened to somebody else, like while you're an African, you're not supposed, if you come to the United States, you have a US green card, you have a US passport, you're given a special lane, like you're free to go, you're not even harassed, you understand? But it's so embarrassing when an African goes to another African country, you're treated like, I've been watching all these, and I don't think you're betraying Africa. Went to
Mm-hmm.
other countries, your eyes open up. I'm
A lot.
trusting God. You will come to Europe. You will see how Europe, you literally take a train, go from country to country to country to country. You're not harassed by anybody. You understand? Like you can just cross Kenya, go to Uganda, go to Nigeria, go to all those places by train and not being stopped and being, you're not betraying. You're speaking reality. And don't forget, unless, they say two people cannot work together. And that's the unity that the colonizers did, the rule of divide and conquer. They knew what they were doing when they were putting these boundaries so you don't experience freedom. You understand that you become one people. And I don't think you're betraying Africa. You're speaking facts. You're speaking facts. Anybody
Yeah,
who's against what you're saying is because the mindset is just locked into that box. Until you
yeah,
get out, you will never know what is out there.
yeah. Because, you know, as someone who's traveled Africa, I basically like been to North, Central, South, East, West Africa. I've been to all regions of Africa,
Yeah,
and there's some things that I have seen here. There's some practices, and there's some way that I've seen that people are doing business here,
yes,
and I feel like if I was, for instance, if I was in a position of power or able
yes,
to be like a policy, to make policies or structures like in Kenya, there's some
yes.
things I would modify because I know we receive a lot of tourists,
Oh,
but
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
realistically, in
Yes,
Kenya and a lot of countries, it's not like I can't say it's very unsafe, but a lot of African countries, it's kind of unsafe to be out,
at
maybe like
night.
in the evening at night. But
Yes.
here, it's like I think like during the day, nobody really, they've created
Mhm.
systems, there's security, there's everything, so you can actually walk the whole street, you'll be free, no one's gonna snatch your phone, despite it being dark, no one's gonna. So
Yes.
I'm like, if I was in a position to influence policy, if I was Minister of Tourism or Minister of Security or something, there's some
Mhm.
things I would want to beef up
Yes.
to encourage more tourists
Yes.
to visit.
Exactly.
Because not only I'm not because the truth is the more tourists you receive, the more revenue you make. And also
Exactly.
try to find a way that it would be easier for us to have the East African loop. Like you realize, like sometimes traveling in Southeast Asia, you find like there's a way tourists would live from maybe Vietnam, Laos,
Yes.
Thailand. Like they make a loop, and
Mhm.
every country is able to benefit that. In East Africa, we have like the East African passport, but realistically, in terms of transportation and everything, is not like really very properly
True.
coordinated.
Mhm.
But here, it's so easy. Like, we don't even have, like, for instance, we don't even have sleeping buses. If you're
I
gonna
know. I
travel
saw
from
that.
Mombasa,
It blew my mind. It blew. I was like,
I'm
what? You
telling you,
have you have like double decker. You sleep when you're
it's
traveling. I'm like,
cheaper.
oh my
Like,
God, no,
where
sir.
like
Yeah.
one of them was double, the other one I took was triple. The bus I took from Paxi to Vientiane, 600 and something kilometers, which is more than the distance from Nairobi to Mombasa, for instance.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
but
is 8 hours, right?
actually, and I slept like really very comfortable in the
Uh-huh.
sense that when we got to the city in Vientiane, I
Uh-huh.
didn't even realize I was awake. They had to come and wake me up, like, oh, we've arrived. So, like,
Wow.
there's some things I don't know what
You don't
is,
want to get up.
no, like, it was okay. Like, by me seeing that this is something can work, this is
Uh-huh.
something like maybe I would research and find out, like, is it something that is practical in Kenya? Is it possible, for instance, in Africa that maybe if I work and find out from the Ministry of Transportation and all that, if
Uh-huh.
I would want to introduce a night bus, maybe taking people from Mombasa all the way to Kisumu or all the way to the border of Uganda, is this something that can actually work?
Uh-huh.
So, those are like some things that I see. I've never been here, and I think maybe some people have traveled here. Obviously, I'm not the first Kenyan here. They've experienced this, but I would really love to know: is this something that I can replicate back at home? Is this something I can take back at home?
Exactly. Yeah, actually, I've been watching all the Indonesia trip. I'm like, man, the place is so nice and clean. I see you're just walking, holding your stuff freely. Like I saw you in Garissa Lodge. You can't even walk, like even in the city. You gotta hold up all your, security policies. And then even if you get stopped by the police, you're also harassed, by the police. So one thing I would like to that we're talking about security. First of all, you'd have to take care of your police, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like I don't know whether you know where most of the police in Kenya stay. Let's say like in Nairobi, right? You know
mm-hmm.
Madara. You know Madara?
Yeah,
So
no,
there's a
Madare.
place called Depot. Depot. We used to call it Depot. Like you have these houses that were built during the colonial times to Nyumbatwa Mabati, like iron sheet houses there, like, and then they share like a bunch of them, and you're working night shift, you're leaving your wife there with your, like, they're living in a very deplorable situation, conditions. You look at how much they get paid, and then you give these policemen power with the crown to go and do the job, but they are being underpaid. They are not paid enough. And they work for the government, so they are not supposed to complain. They cannot go on strike, right? But if you're going to have security in Kenya, you have to make sure these policemen are paid properly. You see what I'm saying? And it's not
Yeah,
that we cannot do it. I know most of you are young, right? But me, in my days, late 70s, early 80s, when
70s.
we used to call 999. When you
Mm-hmm,
call 999, the police used to be right there and they're driving. They were not on foot. They come there and like it's right there. They're 999. They never used to take such a long time. If you call 999 for ambulance, it used to work. It's right there. Like everything used to work in by the time Mzee Kenyatta died and then the new government came in, everything used to work. But instead of moving forward, we started going backward. You understand?
mm-hmm.
I remember
Yeah.
days to go. We used to pay 50 cents to go from Isili to town, bus fare.
Mm-hmm,
Like 10 shillings, you could buy bread, sugar, and milk. Like life was so good. The street, you see Garissa Lodge. Let me give you a little about Garissa Lodge. Garissa Lodge used to be literally a lodging, like two-story lodging, where truck drivers used to come and stay there. And the streets of Nairobi used to be like well lighted, like Dallas. Everything was so bright at night. Security was good. But now we started getting greedy. Like we started putting infrastructures everywhere, not following the city codes. There's no city codes even. There's no city plan even. Instead of going forward, we started going backward. You see, because of
mm-hmm.
greed. And that's why I asked in one of my videos, who has bewitched us Africans? We fought
Okay,
for
so hold
independence.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead. Yeah,
We
just
fought
conclude
for
and then we allow
independence.
Samuel to
We
speak.
fought for independence, right? Because we want to build our nation, our continent. But instead of doing that, we just started grabbing, and destroying like the infrastructure that was left by the colonials is the same infrastructure we've been using in the city, downtown, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like the water, the pipeline, the sewer line, like everything that is in the city is the same infrastructure that was being until recently. Now we're seeing development. You understand?
yeah.
Recently we're seeing development.
Okay,
Go ahead.
right. So let's allow Samuel travel history to talk.
Okay,
Was
go ahead,
good, was
someone.
good. How are you guys? Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. It all depends where you're watching this from. Hi, African Tigress. How are you doing, my sister?
Okay.
Uh, this is a very deep and broad topic to speak about, especially when it comes to traveling in Africa and also traveling outside Africa. And maybe some people might be like, I don't know if it's ignorance or maybe lack of knowledge or something like that. they try to enclose themselves in a cocoon whereby they only think within that cocoon. They're not able to crack that shell and to open themselves to the outside world and to be able to think globally. Things are changing, new policies are coming into place, new ideas, everything is like developing each day and every day. So someone coming and typing down that you're betraying Africa by traveling to other countries, I don't know how to call that term or how to call that statement. I think that is something that that person who talked about that should rethink that statement and come up with a better statement other than sitting down and saying that you're betraying Africa. Especially like I person who really loves to travel. When I see those videos from those countries, Indonesia, Cambodia, any country that you visit, because I'm a big fan and I'm a big follower of you, I'll also be inspired. Oh, I want to go to Philippines. I also want to go to Cambodia. I also want to go to experience this. I also want to go to experience this. So, someone saying that you're betraying Africa, I think that is an understatement, maybe if I may say so. So, I think that is my take, but also we need also to talk about that. And another thing is about how an African passport is like if you are an African passport holder, sometimes going through the border checks on the airports, or it's sometimes hectic. I don't know what we did to deserve this discrimination when closing border, even here in Africa. Like there is a time I was going to Congo, and we were stuck in Congo for like we were stuck in the border for like almost 3 hours. We were being told by the immigration that you had to pay like almost like 10,000 Kenya shillings so that you can be allowed to go into Congo. And I was like, damn, this is an East African country, and you're supposed to cruise an East African country freely as long as you abide by the rules of the country and you follow the regulations that have been put in place in that country. Why should I not go to that country to explore and to be able to see how people do their things in another country? The more you travel, the more you learn, the more your mind opens to new ideas, to
Yes, true.
new ideas, new culture, new food, new way of doing things, new infrastructure. Like if, let's say for instance, maybe you are an architecture, I mean, and you only think about constructing and designing houses here in Kenya, and you have not opened your mind to another architectural designs that maybe are in Europe, Asia, uh, any other country in the world. You always be designing the same designs, the same thing that you only see in Kenya. But the moment you open your mind and maybe travel to Europe, you travel to Asia, you'll be like, oh damn. So this is how these people build their houses. Oh, this is how they maybe design their houses. This is how they do this. This is how they do this. And the moment you come with that idea to Africa and you execute that idea, the probability of you getting new jobs, new buildings coming up with different structural designs is going to change everyone's design, and you're going to be open to many job opportunities, or maybe, yeah, it's going to open your mind and your way of working and your way of thinking. You know, I think that is
You
my
are
take.
right. Yeah, you're absolutely right about it. And just for me to add something about it, yes, if you're only going to limit yourself with only what you've seen in Africa and all that, let me tell you, like for the past, I think 2 years, since 2021 and some previous years, but I think in 2021 and part of 2020, I never traveled because of COVID, obviously. I traveled a little bit of 2019 and 2021. I did a lot of travels. And the truth is like, all the countries I visited, of course, I got a lot of love, a lot of support, and people are like, "Oh, thank you for visiting my country," and all that. But I traveled Africa. By the time, like right now, I've done over half of the continent. Like sometimes when I go to a country, I even like my mind, creativity, and all that is basically gone, because you kind of realize like what we have is kind of replicating in each other's country. So basically, a lot of times there's really nothing new to share, and I don't talk about it, but personally, like I'm really big on entrepreneurship. I'm not gonna talk. I don't go into details about such things, but I do have my own other businesses apart from YouTube that I do in Kenya, and so for me, doing YouTube and doing this creation is not just the only thing I do. And because you see, if YouTube decided to shut today, and do you know how many people who 100% the full-time YouTubers, they don't have anything else beyond that? Like what, like how are you gonna survive? I mean, like Russian YouTubers, for instance, when with the sanctions and all that, Russians were removed off YouTube. So if you're gonna put yourself and the only thing you have to rely on to travel and all that or to make money is YouTube, how are you going to survive? So for me, I like challenging myself going out here. Of course, there's always immigration issues and border issues and all that. Well expected, because I still face the same challenges in Africa, but I'm really learning a lot. And I know, like 100%, by the time I'll be done with these travels, the businesses that I'm going to set in different parts of Africa,
Amen.
they
From,
will not be
from your
much. They
mouth to
will be
God's
a
ear.
force to reckon with.
From your mouth to God's ear. Amen to that.
Now,
Yeah,
see,
they're gonna
African
be a
Tigress.
force to reckon with, because I have seen and I have known and I am taking notes, and I
Yes.
know
No ears
there's
have
a
heard.
lot
Let me
that
say,
I can
somebody
take.
said, if your mind can conceive it and your heart, then you can achieve it. You know, I like
Mhm.
that. I like that. Yeah, can I interject real quick? Yes,
Okay,
naongea
cool. Go
kizungu
ahead.
siku hizi hawa.
Yeah, a lot of people understand English on the
Before
screen,
we
so you
get
can go
out of,
ahead.
because I like something. Let's so we go point by point. You talked about tourism, right? And you have seen the way everybody goes to Dubai.
Mhm.
Dubai is in the middle of nowhere. When you're flying, like I'm coming from United States, I'm flying. It's the oceans after ocean, and then desert, 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 and then you see a big city in the middle of nowhere. You understand? And you see like people pay millions and millions of dollars to go to Dubai in the middle of nowhere. The environment there is so harsh. The place is so hot. It is so hot. But they've made like in infrastructure, the building, they made it so conducive that if you know Americans, we are spoiled. Oh, what are say we hata nishasahau mimi in Kenya. Let's say Americans, we are so spoiled because everywhere we go, we gotta have AC. You understand? But Dubai has made sure that every infrastructure, every building, every structure in Dubai is comfortable with the air conditioned. The vehicles are comfortable. The roads are nice, and not just cheap cars. Very nice taxis there, right? So people will pay any man. Let's come to Africa. Let's talk about our small country, Kenya. We have the best climate ever, best climate, best environment ever, natural, like the wildlife, the like we can go to northeastern, even though it's hot during the day, it's cold, right? Here they think Africa is all desert. We have the most beautiful ecosystem, but we are destroying it. We are not using it. We are capable to build these roads. I'm telling you, like going to some of those Savo places, like you just drive in the middle of nowhere. The network sometimes is dropping. But you look at a place, it's a desert, for crying out loud. They have nothing. Everything there is imported from somewhere for them. Even the sea, even the sand, everything is from somewhere. But Africa, we have resources. We have natural. And the saddest thing is, says, is We have some of the most learned people in the world. They did statistics even here in the United States. Africa produces some of the most beautiful minds, some of the most beautiful minds, but yet we cannot build ourselves. So I always ask, who has bewitched us? God gave us the best environment. God gave us the best atmosphere. Like here in Texas, summertime, we get triple digits, like 50s, like 6 months, no rain. And then right now we can't even get outside because everything is frozen, like the roads are all frozen, the ice everywhere. It's always one thing after another. And then we have tornado season, we have hurricane season. But have you ever had such things in Africa? But we don't use that for our good. But instead we destroy it because I think our biggest problem is greed. Even right now,
that is the point.
We are talking the way we are talking, right? I say, if I got into power, some of the young leaders right now in government, if I became we'll do this, but when we get there, we get corrupted because absolute power corrupts the mind. And that is our biggest problem. We just, they ate, so we eat. You understand? But I just wanted to put that point there that we have the most beautiful continent in the world, the best. We never have you seen hurricanes in Africa? Have you seen those tsunamis? Have you seen those what do you call the other one?
The earthquakes.
Have you seen that?
Except South Africa, they get snow, but not as bad though. You see? In Kenya, you can stay without air condition. You understand? We should be able to have like the best, best tourism places. Like this tourists, you remember the song Kenya Hakuna Matata? Those days, tourists used to walk in Nairobi for free. I promise you, because I was a kid. I think we were the first generation that was in Nairobi. So they used to walk free, holding their things free, like nobody. Early 80s, there was like crime ilikuwa chini. There was no crime, but as time went on, it's become so insecure, but that they don't want to come. But what are we doing about it? And that's employment. So if tourism, we make infrastructures, we make then we'll have employment, right? But right now, it's down. So how are we gonna improve that?
I think EK to come on that point.
Go fast.
Come on that point. Okay, I think to add on that point where it comes on the development, especially like here in Africa, we have the resources, we have the raw materials, we have everything that we need to industrialize our African countries. But because there's some people who, let's say, are in power, they are so greedy that they want to hold all those things to themselves. They don't want to industrialize, they don't want to improve in infrastructure. Then what are the youth that are growing up and the kids that are being born, what are they going to do to themselves when they are growing up? They have no job, they have nothing to eat. Then what next? What happened next?
Good point. You hit a good point I wanted to talk about, right? Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you hit a really good point. Can I throw my life in there a little bit, Lee? Just a little bit. I can't hear you.
Maybe you can go on.
Okay, yeah.
I can hear
No,
you.
sorry. I admitted myself because I'm outside and there's some noise coming from the traffic on the streets and all that.
Yeah.
And can you believe I'm outside and it's like 26 minutes past 2 a.m.
And you're not afraid.
And you're not afraid.
Actually, Jamaica say Jamaica is so bad but I was vlogging in Jamaica. You saw that one somewhere, right? I was vlogging in Jamaica 2 a.m. in the night. And Jamaicans are telling me, what are you doing? Hide your camera. I'm like, if these guys know Nairobi,
they will not say anything.
And then when I'm driving, I'm seeing their police are driving with the vehicles. But I'm like, guys, if you know where I come from, I cannot even pull my phone at this time. And I was vlogging with one of the phone, like you can see it's bright, and I'm just vlogging. I'm like, but anyway, let me go back to what I was talking about.
Yeah, go
Jobless.
ahead. You wanted to throw something in and
Yes.
make it quick, and then I can follow in the comments. And just a quick shout out to me, Baraka.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. If you want to support, if you love what I do, just hit that dollar sign next to the comment, just as you're about to comment your super chat. Also in the description, I believe there's a link to my PayPal as well as to my Patreon. Feel free to support. And you can go ahead and yeah, also if you want to join, sorry, okay, so also if you want to join, I've pinned the link in that pinned comment. That's the link to join live on the conversation. Feel free to also join. The moment you join, I'll see you backstage. So go ahead, Ike.
Yeah. So, I always tell my story, right? And anybody here who has never watched my story can go check the Chokora playlist, right? And for those of you who don't know Chokora, what Chokora is homeless children in Nairobi, street kids in Nairobi. And I'm like the first generation of homeless kids. Like I left home when I was 9, and the only way to survive in the street was doing so many things. You understand? Feeding from trash, snatching handbags, stealing from people, stealing from motorists, and all that and all that. And I come from a very big slum called Madare.
So you are one
Now,
of the people who are traumatizing us and stealing from us in
I'm
Nairobi.
actually, if I'm not wrong, I'm the first generation of Chokora because I ran away at home when I
You are
was
the one who are robbing us in the
1983.
streets.
That's the first time I ran away from home, 1983. I was very young. So we like the first generation. We used to like Ingara, Pangani, those areas, Parklands, Westlands, Tao, those days we used to have those Moturua side. There was nothing. There just used to be bushes. So now, what I'm trying to drive at is jobless youth. Like so many of them, like some of them, the guys I used to, most of them were died or killed by police. Some died drugs, and because there's nothing to do. And then because of it's a long story how I came here. So when I come to America, I find that the fact that you didn't have a formal education, the fact that you failed from 4, you failed, you dropped school at class 8, you dropped school at class 6, they have other programs that can actually help you to build a career. Like you see right now, I'm working as a software QA engineer. But if I was in Kenya, there's no way I'd be doing what I'm doing right now because I dropped out at class 8 or I failed in form 4 with a D or E. Because now when you get that piece of paper because you failed, then it's like you've been written off. But in these United States, they have a program called GED, General Education. You take an exam, you take a course, you take an exam, and then from there you start building a career from it. You understand? And I tried to talk to a few people in Kenya. I had a connection to try and revive. They used to call it Gumbaru, right? You know Gumbaru? Gumbaru used to be some form of like adult education. And I went through that process and graduated, did my high school. But you find that the fact that you fail high school or you dropped out in class 8, it doesn't mean that's the end of your life. We have so many young people in Kenya, in Africa with potential. They have talent, they have gifting. They might not be book smart, but they're good with their hands, they're good with other things. But we do not nurture, we do not have a system that can nurture that, like get these talented young people to do things that they are good at. You understand? There are people who are just good at their hands. There are people who are good like computers. If you're good at, you can build a computer and stuff like that. And here I am. If I never traveled, and this is something I've been trying to talk to some people even back home. Like you can actually do this. You can actually introduce programs where you can mentor young people, youth, that they can do some of these things. Like for years, I was training Americans how to assemble phones, put it together. I've worked for companies like Ericsson, Nokia, Samsung, like so many companies I've worked for with my only makasomo, my education from Kenya. For those of you who don't understand, I did Gumbaru in Kenya. You understand?
That
Now you see
is that is adult education for those
adult
people who didn't get
education.
to learn when they're young. So when you're older, you can go seek like adult education. It's not, yeah.
Yes, so you see technology like this, you can actually do it and have a program that can get these guys to tap into their potential and do something with themselves instead of going out. But right now, what are they going to do? There's no jobs. They need to be nurtured. They need somebody to, like, when I used to do the I used to literally, I've hired and trained a lot of Americans how to assemble, disable phone, flash system, work system. Na kama someone who I don't even have a bachelor's degree, but I'm here working as a software engineer. You understand? My ka C minus from Gumbaru, KCSE, but I'm here working because they have that system where you see, I don't know
They
who I'm
give you
talking to
second
right now.
chances in life.
When you travel, when I came here, that's when we have something like this. And it's not that our leaders don't know. All our presidents, they know because they travel. Our politicians, they know. And I know it's easy for them to apply these back in Africa. I know they're able to start such programs to enable the youth. But guess what happens? As long as the hand is always down, when they given, the hand that is up will always tie up, and they don't want you up, because then when you're up, then they'll not be able to manipulate you. So
Of
that's
course.
all I can say. For me, this has been a big. One day I'm going to start this program. I'm facing opposition, but I will.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah,
Ike,
I know. Sorry, I know this. My background is quite noisy, but I know, and I have a little bit. I know a little bit about your story, and I'm really proud of the much that you've done, coming from a street child to whatever you are doing right now. Your journey has been amazing and just inspiring. And realistically, looking at it, if you continued to stay in Kenya, trust me, you'll not be where
See,
you are
let me
right
tell
now.
you, man.
So you one of those people who betrayed Kenya because they want.
no,
By the
but
way,
You betrayed.
he
I did
traveled
a
to
book
get
with
a
the
good
US
future,
passport. When I come to Kenya, I have to pay a visa to come to Kenya. You understand? I have to pay, and I'm not ashamed about leaving. I don't know why I'm calling you.
It's because you know
I'm
my name,
leaving.
yeah.
I own a property in America. I'm debt free. Americans are paying debt. I'm not paying in. All my cars are paid. I'm debt free because, first of all, I thank God I went through what I went through, because it taught me how to save what I make and how to treasure what I make. So something good came out of it. You understand? I don't want to come here and start living beyond my means. I came here, save money. I'm a former Chokora living in a fully paid
Chokora
house.
says street child. Yeah, Chokora is street
Oh yeah,
child. You're a former
yeah,
street child.
yes, former street child. For those of you who understand,
homeless.
in a homeless but own property, debt free, paid cash. Paid. I'm not bragging. It's by grace. It's by. But what I'm trying to say, I see a lot of people say, "Oh, America, America." No, 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 guys. America is good. I'm not complaining about it. Continually, I'm like, yo, guys, Africans, we need to wake up and do something about our continent, man. We have to.
All, all right. So let me give
African
a shout out.
Tigress.
Just a second. Let me give a
Okay.
shout out to Black Forest Princess. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says traveling makes us grow in so many areas in life. Start traveling, guys. The world is so beautiful. Africa Tigress, keep moving. I'm very sure for anyone and everyone who's traveled, they would appreciate the benefit that comes from traveling and seeing life from the other side of the
Different
world,
point of
seeing
view.
life in the other, through other people's lens. I know a lot of people would appreciate that. For anyone who's traveled, I'm very sure they truly appreciate that. And to also respond to this comment, this person says, African Tigress, it's quite a while. You've not been posting for some time. Where have you been? Okay, so the YouTube algorithm kind of changed. If you subscribe to my channel and you get notifications, and you miss 3 notifications, like when they pop up and you don't click on it or you don't watch it, the algorithm, YouTube will stop recommending my channel to you. So in case you miss like 3 of my videos continuously, 3 videos, YouTube stops recommending my channel. I'm posting, guys, I'm posting, I'm working so freaking hard. You see, it is almost 3 a.m. I'm awake.
I
So
know
just
when I'm going
watch
to
my,
sleep, you're still posting.
yeah, just watch my channel, watch the videos, share them, and don't get mad at me. Don't get disappointed that I'm no longer like really doing. It doesn't mean that, oh, I've really abandoned Africa or I'm never gonna do content about Africa just because I'm out here. Because in as much as you all enjoy that content in Africa, and I know a good number of my audience, even up to this point, a good number of my audience is from the US and other countries outside Africa. And I know a lot of you might not have had the opportunity to visit Africa and all that. So you enjoyed seeing Africa through my lenses and all that. But one thing I also want to, like, realistically, like, I'm one person who appreciates honesty, and I would love to share my honest experience and like be as realistic. For anyone who's ever done like private consultation or reach out to me on email asking me about videos and places like that, I'm very honest. um we make videos, we show you different places. Africa has both beautiful and bad places. It has both the positive and both negative. I mean, a lot of times, because there's a lot of negative out there, mostly when I'm in Africa, I'm always trying to like really focus on the positive, but that doesn't mean there isn't negative. So there's also challenges that come with it. But a lot of you, if you're coming from Europe, Western world, America, and all that, you don't know like the power that or the privilege that your passport has.
Has
Really?
that
You
is it.
have a lot of
Oh
privilege.
yeah.
Like you have a lot of privilege
What are
that
U.S. passports?
if you don't open your mouth and
Oh,
you want to
Let me
like
tell you a true story.
no, let me
Before,
finish, please,
okay,
and then you
sorry.
can go ahead.
Mhm.
So let me tell you this. I've interacted with a lot of people. I mean, if you followed me over time, you know I've had a lot of people, especially I know my audience is mostly Black people from all parts of the world, but I also know I have some people from other races and all that, but I know majority, a good number of the audience, because of the content I was doing in Africa and all that, most of the audience that watch me are Black people from all parts of the world. Um, I want the Black people that watch me, if you come from Western, or if you have the advantage of having a Western passport, or if you've grown up there, my advice for you is to just take up any opportunity that comes your way. There is a lot of successful Black people. Talk to them, ask them how they made it. A lot of successful Black business people in the Americas or all over in different continents. Ask them how they made it. Ask them how like why are they successful? What did they do different? If they're very open, if you have some close to you. But try as much as possible to move yourself from the group of people who feel or who want to feel like you are victims. A lot has happened, yes, a lot has happened, but don't let that cloud you to the point that you don't see an opportunity and you just live all your life. You're gonna live a very sad and miserable life, feeling like a victim all your life, and you die feeling like a victim. You have a lot of advantage, a lot of opportunities that you can take advantage of. I might be ignorant, I might be stupid, I'm not very sure, and forgive me if I am, because I used to stay with this lady. She's the first lady. She was like my best friend. She actually used to stay with me, and she didn't even have a house. She didn't have a car. She didn't have anything. She used to stay in my house actually, and she just finished university, and she didn't even, no opportunities. She finished with a degree in political science. Like, a lot of times there's nowhere you can go the political science degree in Africa unless you have a connection to get into some NGO or something like that. You basically need like some degrees that you can easily get a job. Like maybe if you're a doctor or nurse, you can never lack a job with that. But political science, that one needs connection. So this lady used to stay with me. Then she got an opportunity, she got a green card and she moved to the US. Right now, that lady is doing very well. And when she moved to the US, she didn't just sit and wait. She was working. Sometimes I could talk to her and she's like on a 16-hour shift and all that. Of course, it's draining and all that. Some people will look at it like, oh, they're just draining you and all that. And someone else will look at it as an opportunity. She worked that, she went into nursing. Right now, she's a registered nurse. She's done a lot of development and investment back home, things that she was not able to do when she was in Kenya with her degree and all that. I'm not saying like, oh, Kenya is all bad or Africa is all bad, but I want us to also be like very open-minded and be very realistic. And in case you have a passport or you're in a country or whatever comes, the opportunity it presents, take advantage of it, use it to empower yourself and also empower the people around you, your community, your society. If you're an African who moved from Africa, got an opportunity elsewhere in the world, remember that business you probably wanted to set in Africa. Now you have an opportunity in the Western world or so. Like, take it, the resources and the funds or the finances that you get, if you're able to do that. For me, I'm not going to be one person who's going to condemn the West and say everything about the West is bad. Everything is the bad, or oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. There's advantages
True.
that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even recently, the last video I posted about border crossing, I might not have gotten to every detail about it because it's very long. But of course, there's different of us who are traveling. Of course, there were some white girls, there were black girls, and then there was me. So as black girls, we were approached, and which passport do you have? Which passport? I was the only one with an African passport. The rest of the other African girls, they had different European and Western passports. They were not sent to do the whole trip. If you watch the video, you'll understand. They were not sent to go through the same pain I went through. So there's advantages that come with it. Just that you have to be like, to really look at it and find ways that you can use that to your advantage. I mean, a lot of things
Advantage,
have
yeah.
happened in history. A lot of things have happened, and we all know that. We're not saying like we're writing or we're ignoring what has happened, but take that advantage, take that opportunity that you have. Take that advantage of the opportunity. If you're able to fund yourself through education, or even if you get a student loan, I know people have opinion about student loan and all that, but it's better. If it's me, I'd rather get a student loan and go to medical school than one. There was this lady who was featured, who scored an A, like very straight A to university, but dropped out of school due to lack of school fees and things like that. So I'd rather get a loan to finance my education and then pay it later than lack an opportunity completely. So for me, that is basically what I think. So it's all about the mindset. So before I talk so much about it, I want to let's hear from Clint. Clint hasn't spoken at all.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
So
How
Hi,
are
Clint, how
you?
are you?
I am Clint
Everyone
Andre.
else, please, you can mute.
Are
Everyone
you
else,
hearing
please, you
me?
can mute the mic. Yeah.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm Clint Andre, and I'm from Guyana, which is South America. And Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America. So my channel is based on my country, Guyana, where I show videos of our lifestyle, and also different places here in Guyana. Thank you so much. I just love this YouTube community. It brings about everyone like from near and far. So I've stopped saying my channel. I'm start saying my neighbors in my community, because I see us all as one community living in the world, but we're of different cultures. So I love to learn new cultures and interact with new and interesting persons. So I just love this social media based platform called YouTube. Thank you so much, Lynn.
you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. So let's also have one more person who's backstage before we can add everyone else.
Lynn, there is
Yeah.
something that I wanted to. There is something else that I wanted to pinpoint when you talked about the advantages that comes with a European or maybe a strong passport, and also EK also talked about that. But the thing is, from my point of view, I feel like yes, we cannot erase all what that happened, but for us Africans who are still in Africa and we are saying that, oh, we are poor, we are this, we are that, the thing is, I think the biggest thing is we are lacking the supportive system, and also we are lacking the platform to showcase our ideas and everything that we are capable of doing. For instance, maybe you can come up with something that's gonna change the community or maybe gonna benefit the community, but you lack the supportive system, and also you lack the platform to showcase that what is going to affect the society in a positive way. Or maybe the people might see what you're doing in the society and they end up maybe clapping for you, but they don't give you the support or they don't push you forward so that you can continue advancing on whatever you're doing. You know, the moment you lack that supportive system at one point in your life, you'll be like, oh, what I'm doing is not maybe what I'm meant to do. You end up giving up. But the thing is, what I see with the Europeans on where the EK is, these people, you present your idea, they give you the platform, they give you the supportive system until you are able to support yourself in life and also support the the society at large. So for me, I would say like Africans at one point, it doesn't matter where you come from, if you come from the south, the north, the east, or the west. I think it's high time for us as Africans to support other Africans so that we can strengthen the bond and be able to support one another, regardless of the language that you speak, regardless of the religion that you practice, anything. The only thing that you can do so that we can strengthen the bond and we can grow as Africans is only supporting one another, regardless of your beliefs, your culture, your language, as long as the support, that is it. Like for
Yeah.
instance, how look, let me get I always talk about this thing every time when I come to this platform whereby I'm comparing Africa and the Western world. How many YouTubers are coming to Africa so that they can grow their channels? How
So
many?
many, so
How
many,
many?
and we support them 100%. I mean, you
And
have content, the same content that you're doing. There's people who are
I
doing that, but
know.
they're not watching your videos. They're not watching your videos, but they will watch their videos. So let's
and they
let's
comment and they share. But me as an
exactly.
African who has done a detailed tour of maybe like here I'm in Mombasa, maybe I go to Old Town, or maybe I do maybe the cultural things about the Swahili people, and I give a huge detail about it, but nobody will like he's an African, okay, we know that place. But when someone, either a white or a black person, comes from US, Europe, Jamaica, any other country, everyone flocks in to watch that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think we see these people as maybe demigods.
In fact,
You see,
you're
you
right
said you,
about it in the sense that a lot of them, especially Kenya, I've not seen any Western YouTuber who did not come to Kenya to grow. Like Kenya is that one country you step in, you
Where
put
they come to
anything.
grow.
yeah,
Yes,
actually,
Kenya is
It
that
opens
country
doors
where you'll
to
stop.
Western people.
Someone will
It
come with
opens doors to
2,000 subscribe. Okay, I'm not gonna mention names. But
I know
we
where
we
you're
if I
going.
share,
we ain't
I know
going to
but
where you're
if I
mention
going,
names
share,
Tigress.
because
so
we know them.
if I'm gonna share a story, you'll probably know about it. So
I think I already know.
Sometime back. No, there's not. I don't think you know this particular one, but if you know, that's fine.
But maybe
So
if you give
sometime back,
the story, we're
no,
gonna
if I give the
pinpoint.
story, you're gonna know. So sometime back, some came from the West and they came to Kenya just to visit. They came, they were less than 2,000 subscribers. In no time, they were 30K. In no time, this person had grown to, they were going, they were getting all, including brand collaboration. In no time, they were getting nominated, I don't know, for travel influencers in 2 months. And they did not even know, they posted and they were like, hey guys, is this a scam or what's happening? Oh, Pulse Award influencer, travel influencer.
I know who you are talking about.
They have no idea. Like they did not. Okay, forget about YouTubers because that's when they were looking at all people. There's a lot of Kenyan, even on Instagram and other platforms, who are influencing in terms of travel. But people ignored them, and these people just like suddenly someone coming from the West has been in Kenya 1 month. They're getting nominated. You know, during the end of the year, that's when they do these nominations and all that.
Yeah.
During the end of the year, they're getting nominated for an award for travel influencers. So it's like even them, they're surprised. What mindset is this one creating to them? It's creating to them like they don't have to do anything. We'll just worship them. You know?
And
that's what I say, demigods. We worship them.
It's become a trend.
And the moment they left, their views went down. When they went down, what happened? This person comes back to Kenya.
Yes.
Because when you're in Kenya, you'll get the views.
By the way, it's a trend now, everybody. There's a ton of them now coming. They know when they land.
Specifically, they come to Kenya.
They know when they land in Kenya, we're gonna bow down. We're gonna like, yeah. But let me just give you guys facts. They are just people like you. You understand? There is nothing unique. There is nothing they'll tell you that somebody traveler will not tell you. And he's on the ground. He knows more about when you're doing like when you're going to Garissa to do those videos in Garissa Lodge, you're showing the real life, you're not showing these, like fantasy, like
plus,
you're showing fantasy, the real life.
Okay. There's been people who've been on backstage, so let's hold the conversation right there. Just briefly, let's hear from Aaron.
Hopefully, you can hear from me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we hear you, Aaron.
Loud and clear.
All right, how's it going, guys?
It's going.
We're good, man.
Here, I'm calling in from the United States, California, San Jose, California. Nice to meet you all.
We're in Texas here. Is it cold in California? Texas, we're frozen right now. All the roads. I'm missing my RAM, man. I can't. The stores are closed. Everything is closed, and I'm cold.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. I forgot to run to the store, man.
Hey! California is supposed to be warm most of the time, and it's freezing in the morning times. In the evening, in the afternoon, not too bad, but at night, cold as heck, man. I don't know what's going on, man. It's climate change.
Like Kenya weather.
Climate change.
Climate change.
Nairobi weather. Yeah.
Yes, Aaron. What's your contribution? I don't know why you joined the conversation, but we were basically talking about there's some people who feel like by me traveling outside Africa to other continents, because at the moment I'm in Asia, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to America, Europe, and all that.
Sure.
Goal is to go everywhere. I'm beginning to I'm betraying Africa. So what's your take on it?
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. I think for people who've never traveled, that I think that's probably the complaint that I've gotten, I've heard in the past is like, people who just kind of stay in their little cave, they've never traveled, they've never got out and seen the world, that they might share that view. I think you're an ambassador. Let me tell you something. From watching you from the United States, seeing how you're a strong woman out there doing your thing. I memean, it's inspirational. I got 4 daughters. Okay, I got four daughters, and I'm telling you right now that you're the type of person that you're the type of woman that I have my daughters look up to you because you're out there doing it, betraying Africa. Are you kidding me, man? You're ambassador. That's ridiculous.
Bold.
That's
Hey,
absolutely
hey.
ridiculous. To hear anybody complain about somebody doing something positive, that's my biggest pet peeve about YouTube and learning about Africa is why be negative if people are out there hustling and they're being positive, doing some great stuff, even if it's for themselves or a charity, whatever it is. Why be negative? Like, why would you have any critics say anything about you traveling and being an ambassador for Africa? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Aaron, maybe
Amen to
it's
that.
people they don't have something, or maybe they don't have much going on in their lives. The only thing that they think is just sitting down, watching
Hey,
you do
bro.
your thing, and then thinking of commenting something negative. Because if you have something that is you are so resourceful to yourself and to the community, and you're affecting people in a positive way, you could not be having that thought that this person is betraying Africa for traveling to Asia or to Europe or to somewhere else, because you're going to be like, okay, oh, she has traveled to Europe. Then, what are the points that I'm going to pick from her video so that when I go to Europe, I will execute and I will avoid this and I will have to do this, That is
Absolutely.
the mind that people should have. Like, okay, you have gone before me. When I follow you, am I going to follow the same footsteps, or am I going to make the mistake that you made? But if I watch you and follow you, I am going to be able to know how to evade some things or how to go about the same thing you are trying to do, but in a different perspective, in a different way. You understand where I'm coming from? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Other
Aaron,
than
Absolutely.
bro.
saying
Okay.
other than saying that, okay, oh, you're traveling to Europe, you're traveling to Asia, you're doing charity somewhere. Why don't you do charity home? Don't you do this? Don't you do? Damn, boy.
So, Aaron, you talk about something very important that when you don't travel, your mind is like caged in a box, right? And that goes
Absolutely.
here, bro, right? Like, even our brothers and sisters here, they never travel. Like, maybe
Yeah.
they don't even until when YouTube started happening, and now they see somebody like African Tigress. I remember the day she started the channel in her small house. Like, we used to have a lot of brothers calling in, like they would come in and give perception about Africa, but you've never been there. You just know
Exactly.
what you've been told.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
understand? And there's
Yep.
something I tell people, like I was always scared to go to Jamaica, right? Because when I go in the travel advisor, everything, don't go, don't do these, you'll be mad, you'll be so you until I went to Jamaica. I'm like,
Yes.
and then I had a big link up with Jamaicans. Like I felt like I'm at home. I'm like, this is not what they're telling you. You see? But if I stayed in
Absolutely.
that cocoon of
Absolutely.
not traveling, I would have always assumed Jamaica is risky, it's crazy. The people are not
Unsafe and
until
crazy,
you go. And it happens here too. I always tell brothers and sisters, like in the barbershop, when I'm telling them, hey guys, it's not what they're showing you. We
Yes.
are starving. It's not all Africa is starving. Because one country has a war, it doesn't mean the whole Africa has a war. But you
Thank
see,
you.
that's how we've been set up to think, even our own brothers and sisters here. I mean, they don't even teach about us. You understand? Like in the system, they like, but when you start traveling, you're like, oh,
Yes.
Africa is not what I thought. When Africans start traveling, they start realize, oh, there is another side of life. We can actually implement certain things. I was talking about GED. It's something new, something we can implement in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Because you failed in high school or you dropped out in school, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that's the end of life. You can
Absolutely.
learn some skills. You can pick up, go take that GED, learn some skill, computer science. You can do all of that. And I hope Kenya will elect me to be a president so I can implement these things one day.
Let's make the
Yeah.
government
You
till
got my vote.
African Tigress.
2027.
African
2027.
Tigress.
We'll have another
2027.
Emilio president.
I'm gonna become a
African
citizen so I
Tigress.
can vote for you.
Okay. Now let's.
Lynn,
Sorry.
Lynn, do you follow?
Let's.
Have you? Okay, have you
1 minute.
followed
1 minute max.
Okay. Have you
Go
followed
ahead,
the
Samuel.
latest? Have you followed the latest news that I'm a big follower of news because I like being updated on everything that is happening, especially in the law faculty. They were saying that right now you don't need a degree to be the president of the Republic of Kenya. I don't know how that happened, but Imagine the Supreme Court that passed that, and I was like, okay,
I don't
damn.
know about that. I don't know how I feel about
I
that. I might be having my own prejudice from what I think. Okay, of course, I have a degree, but I'm not practicing exactly what I
what
studied
you
in
did,
school.
yes.
I mean, like I have beyond a bachelor's degree and all that, but I'm not really practicing that. I don't know how I feel that about that, but then I don't want us to have the like of Mike Sonko as president, to be honest. So
That's what I was
that is
talking about with
debatable.
my
That is
colleagues.
debatable. That is debatable. But
That's
let's
what I
hear from
was.
Daniel.
I
Let's
was
hear from
talking with
Daniel.
my colleagues today about that.
Yeah, we've not heard from Daniel. Let's hear from Daniel. Then I have one
Daniel,
question for
how
Aaron,
are you?
and
Welcome to the
then
live stream.
yeah, Daniel, go ahead. Oh, okay, I muted you. And okay, go ahead, Daniel.
Okay. Hello, brothers. I'm hearing you. Yeah.
What's up,
Welcome,
Dan?
Daniel.
Hey,
Nice
welcome.
to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. Okay. I'm from Nigeria. Okay.
Welcome.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I'm very happy for you guys. I understand all your points. I'm very happy. So I don't know. I'm just have a little point. You understand? I have a question. My question is that what do you people know? Like, what do Africans think about Nigerians?
I think for that one, before we go, that's a lot of conversations.
No,
I think when you
that's
talk
my
about,
question. No.
have you watched
What?
my videos before? Because I've done questions
Yeah.
about that.
I'm very happy about your videos. You understand? But
Yeah, did
I
you see
like
the
me.
videos about what different countries think about Nigeria?
Yeah. But
I
like,
think I did the video in Zimbabwe, I did it in Zambia, I did it in Kenya, I did it in Ghana.
Hey,
mm,
Those
my
in the
father was
state.
My father was Nigerian. Just let you know, so I'm half Nigerian.
for me, I'm from Nigeria. I have a question. My question is that what Africans think about Nigerians? They hate Nigeria a lot. That's why I'm here tonight.
That's a lie.
I
I'll
love.
tell you
Serious.
this.
I'm not lying. I'm not
For
lying.
me,
So
for
that we don't really like, that is gonna be a whole conversation next time. But
Let us talk about this. Let us talk about
but
why Africa hate Nigerians. What African hate Nigerians?
let me tell you.
Why?
Let me
we're
tell you.
gonna do that next time.
Can I
Like
tell
a
you
whole
something? I have
conversation.
a
But
U.S.
1
passport.
minute.
I have
Yeah,
a
go
U.S.
ahead.
passport, right? The first time I got my U.S. passport, I traveled to Kenya, and then they see my last name is Kenyan. They pull me aside. They're asking me, like, are you sure this passport is legit and you're not Nigerian coming with a fake U.S. passport?
Okay.
They pull me and question me. They said me like, oh, you are those Nigerian coming to Kenya with the U.S. passport.
You
Is
see?
it they had to go and they question and they, like, the first time I got my U.S. passport. That's why I wanted to tell you, Samuel and African Tigress, the fact that you have an African passport and you are Kenyan, and they will pull you sometimes and think they said, and I don't know why they picked Nigeria. And these 2 times they did that to me. Even in Amsterdam, they did that to me, and also in Amsterdam. So they think I'm Nigerian, like with they had to remove my bags, and I was so embarrassed, man. You have all my boxers everywhere. They think I'm carrying drugs with a fake US passport. I'm like, dude, guys,
it's
here I have my
crazy,
Kenyan
man.
ID. You want to
It's
see my
crazy.
Kenyan birth certificate? I can call somebody to forward it. Like, they're like, no. I'm like, no, I'm Kenyan with a US passport. I'm not faking I'm not faking to be American and I'm Nigerian. I don't know why, but international borders do the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So that
That's true.
answers your questions, right there.
Lean,
it's a topic for another day. We can't discuss that here. I mean, we are
like
talking
now.
about what she's saying.
It's a long
Africans are calling
conversation.
her a sellout. African American, we call sellout, right?
Actually,
Here in
someone
the
even
US,
in
they
the
say you are
chat, they said
sellout
I'm
when
a
you
child.
leave the hood and you don't want to go back to the hood.
Even in this chat today, in this live stream today, someone said I'm a sellout because
Promoting Asia.
Yeah, because I'm promoting Asia, I should be the Asian tiger.
Tigress.
The
And they
African
added that,
Tigress call the truth the truth. A
yeah,
spade a spade.
For me,
Like,
one
Liz,
thing I want to endeavor and one thing I really want to do is to tell the truth.
Tell the
Okay,
truth.
so now
Tell the truth.
Daniel, you're asking this. I'm gonna respond to this in my best way, how I think about it, and I'm not trying to be correct or politically correct, but one
No,
thing I
no,
want
no.
to live my life, I want to
You
live
have
it
to
by
try
the
your
truth.
best.
Okay,
You have to
and
try
then
your best.
no,
You
I'm
have to
not trying
correct
to please
somebody to
everybody,
display
and
this.
then
I don't like
I'm
this.
gonna have okay, and then I'm
Mm.
gonna have a question for Aaron, and then we continue the conversation. So to respond to that, you ask why everybody hates Nigeria. First, that
Seriously.
is just
Mostly
not true.
Kenyan, South African, Ghana. They hate Nigeria a lot.
Daniel,
No,
Seriously.
that
let's
is
get the let's
so.
get
Let
the
even
me tell
answers
you.
of
Nigeria
the
don't like
Tigress.
Nigeria themselves.
No, 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 no. We like ourselves. No, no, no.
I live here in Texas, Oga,
We like
Chief
ourselves.
Oga,
Don't worry.
Abego,
Oga
Abeg.
Abego. I live here in Dallas, Texas, United States. Nigerians don't trust. They would rather hang out.
No,
Like
no.
I have a lot of Nigerian
We,
friends. Oh, they would rather
listen,
be
we
my
have bad,
friend than be friends
listen,
with other Nigerian. No,
we have
sir.
bad government. We have
Come
bad
on, I mean,
government. That's why. We have
Ike,
bad government.
Nigerian don't
They have
trust all
bad government.
Nigerians
That's
now.
why. But we love
Ike,
ourselves.
Okay.
You
So
know?
let me respond to this. As someone who's been to Nigeria more than once, as someone who's interacted, with someone who has Nigerian friends, and
Mm.
as someone who's
I've
dated a
seen Nigeria.
Nigerian before,
Yes.
at least
Yes.
now you have the experience.
I have
Mm.
experience. Anyway,
Mm.
one
Tell us,
thing
tell
I
us.
can say about Nigerians,
Mm.
Nigerians are very aggressive people
Mhm.
in
That's
the
the
sense
point.
that there's a lot of them who are like very smart and very intelligent. But then the government and the system has not provided an opportunity for them to exploit. And because of
Mm.
lack
Or
of
showcase
that,
their
a lot
talent.
of them get, please mute your mic.
That's me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So a lot of times, because of some of them, because they have the knowledge, they have the skills, and they still broke and all that, some of them might tend to get into some funny business for survival. Like it's a very competitive country. Like Nigeria is Nigerians are very competitive. It's only like, let me tell you, like where I'm staying here. Do you know which lady, the lady that is working this night shift?
Mm.
She's Nigerian. It's a
Mm.
Nigerian lady. So there's a lot of them who are like really smart, but due to lack of opportunities and all that, some of them get into some funny business. So that's why sometimes even when they get discriminated at the borders, they say, oh, because Nigerians are doing this, Nigerians are doing that, and all that. I feel like I feel like the biggest failure for Nigeria is the country itself. It has failed the citizens so much that someone would prefer to come to Kenya, for instance, because I used to have an office in Kenya for my other business, and my next door neighbor who had an office next door was Nigerian. So we were having this conversation, and he told me for a Nigerian, they would rather suffer in a foreign country where the auntie, the uncles, and the family and the friends, they don't know that you are suffering. But suffer there than suffer in Nigeria. But then when I look at the mindset, I feel like for us, mostly Kenyans, even going to the city, if you're suffering in Nairobi, people are like, why are you suffering in the city? Go back to your village. But Nigerians are the people who are willing to go suffer in another country and struggle until they make it. Some of them, in the process of the struggle, they get maybe an easy way that they make quick money. So some of them might get into that. But it doesn't mean that it's only Nigerians who are getting into that. But the fact that Nigerian is the largest population in Africa, so
In
it kind of
Africa.
tends to make it look like the numbers of Nigerians engaged in crime is higher than the number of other people. But realistically, I know there's crime in every country, but when you take the number of the Nigerians who engaged in maybe those 411, 491 or 419 or something like that, you put it
401k.
over the if you put it over the average population of Nigeria and you multiply it to find a percentage, you might find that the percentage is just as equal as any other country of people who are engaged in crime. But because you are many, Nigerians are many, so sometimes people tend to make it look like Nigerians are that. But that is what, that's why maybe some people tend to look at it such way. But personally, I really don't feel like there's any major thing or major discrimination I have against Nigerians. I've had conversations even when I'm meeting or with some Africans, or even when I'm traveling, they're like, oh, Nigerians are ruining the name for us and all that. Like, for me, it doesn't make sense, because I'm like, you're not looking at it holistically.
Let me say, the only one I have against them, they take all our beautiful ladies, Kenya, Africa. Whenever I go with them to anywhere, they all go, hey, Oga.
I love Kenya.
A Kenyan brother is left there. He's talking
Okay,
to
second.
Take all the beautiful African ladies.
Okay,
I have
second.
that against them.
Okay, for
Hey,
me, I'm a lady.
okay.
If I'm a lady, if they're gonna treat me okay, I'm cool. I mean, for me, I'm cool. It's you, man. If you can't level up to their level, that's your problem. If you can't level up to Nigerian men level, that's your problem. For me, I'm a lady, so if they treat me good and all that, I'm cool. Second, I know, like, one of the challenges I faced while crossing the border to Laos is they were saying, are you Nigerian, are you Ghana, or that, and I got discrimination. But for me, I don't even feel like, I can't say like, or I can't put it as a problem of, oh, Nigerians are making me suffer and all that, because as Africans, when Germans come, or Italians or Europeans, we don't judge them the same. I mean, my passport is clearly Kenyan, so if you have issues or you need to go to extra checks with Nigerians, you can see clearly my passport is Kenyan, I'm not Nigerian, so why are you subjecting me to the same? Because I am not. If you're going to do that, like, a German passport is different from a British passport and all that. But also, lastly, to wind this up before I go to my question for Aaron, one thing I really like, there's one thing I like about Nigerians. I actually admire their spirits and their resilience. I feel like there's no country in the world that you will go that you will not meet Nigerians.
True.
I feel like the rest of us Africans, if we were only willing and open to go and venture out, maybe like these people would get used to lots of Africans, such that when they're traveling, they're not like, oh, this. So they'll get like, see, we're complaining. A lot of times people complain like, oh, this Chinese are taking over Africa, Chinese, this. Why can't you also go to those countries?
And to go to their country.
Also go and populate them in the same way they're populating ours, in the same way they're starting business and all that? It's because they take their time, they learn, they see the system, how does it work, how can I set up a business? We can also learn. How can we set up business? What opportunities exist there and all that? If we put that interest as well, and you see an opportunity, if you find an opportunity in Cambodia that's gonna make you a multi-millionaire, go for it. I don't care whether you're black or, go for it. It doesn't matter whether you're Kenyan, you're Nigerian, South African, Congolese, or whatever. You see an opportunity in Cambodia that's gonna make you, or in Laos that's gonna make you succeed, excel. Go for it. Don't wait for people. Like, I feel like we need to change that mindset. And it's a thing I've noticed, like, Nigerians are people who are going, like, there's so many Nigerians, like, in these countries, like, lots of people that I've met here in Asia. I've met 2 South Africans and lots of Nigerians. I feel like there needs to be, like, more other Africans, so that these stereotypes and all these things can actually stop. We need more Africans to also travel, experience, do business. I mean, for instance, the lady, not all Nigerians are involved in scams. All Nigerians who are here involved in scam. For instance, where I'm staying, the lady who's working night shift, this is night shift, she's working at the place I'm staying. During the day, she's an English teacher. Apart from that, she's exporting stuff to Nigeria. She has a shop and business in Lagos. Apart from that, I wish I could call her, but she slept. I wish I could call her to just say hi, but maybe she'll accept I'm going to feature her in one of my videos. Apart from that, she does hair. So she imports braids. Do you know how much this braid in Kenya is less, or in Africa is less than $1? But do you know how much this costs here in Asia? like to just do your hair. She sells this package for you for like, this is like $5, just one. Because she's selling it at 100,000 keep. 116,000 keep is $1. So I don't know, 100,000 would be about, it's more than $5 to just have one piece of braid. And then she also know how to braid your hair. By just doing my hair, and if she didn't do this because this one I did in Cambodia, but by just doing hair braiding and all that from one person, she'll make over $100. She's a teacher, she's selling clothes, she's doing what? She's importing things. Even here, she's making, how is it called? And she's supplying to stores here. Like she's doing all that. At night, she's working here. Like, you see, like this is one person doing like 5 businesses. So I feel like this is the mindset that we all should have. Anyway, so as we proceeded.
Well said.
They're aggressive and assertive.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
well said.
So I hope, Daniel, I answered your question, and I can now go ahead and ask a question going back to our original conversation. I hope I answered it, and I answered it truly from what I feel and think. I might be ignorant or whatever, but like that's at this point in my life, that's what I feel.
Very good.
I love Africa. Africa is my continent. I love Africa.
We're just scared of the way you're aggressive. You're go-getters, man. You're go-getters. When you go get it, you know? You get it. That's what people are scared of, you know? You're never shy to speak your point like, at the airport. You go get it.
I came to learn like continent. I love Africa. You're from Uganda, you're from Kenya, you're from Tanzania, you're from Senegal. We are all the same. Okay? Please.
The problem is the borders.
Yes. Please. We are all the same. Please. Let us maintain the focus. We are all the same. Okay?
Yes, yes. So one thing I would also say, now this is a challenge to Nigerians out there. You guys are like very aggressive, very strong, very what? No, one challenge I would give it to Nigerians. One challenge I would say to Nigerians, like I don't say like there's no. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, if you can hear me. So my last challenge, one thing I would also love to just challenge Nigerians is, in the same spirit, in the same effort and everything and all the struggle that you put out there to make it work no matter what, use that energy and spirit to get the right people into leadership.
Excuse me.
Yes, like go ahead, like don't give up. See, let me say. I don't want us to go into that. That's a conversation for another day, but that's just my point. That's a conversation, but I just want you food for thought. Use the same energy to like really try to get the right people on board, and do not bow. Like if you have to fight for it, fight for it. Because you guys, one day, 2 days, the government threatens you, oh, what, and then you guys back off. Like if you know the Kenyan spirit of demonstration,
hey,
not even bullets stop people.
African Tigress, we need to send you there. Your community from Nyanza, we send them for training there.
Not even bullets stop Kenyans from going to the street to demonstrate. Not even death or nothing. When Kenyans have decided to go to the street to demonstrate, nothing can stop them. Oh, you'll shoot us, but people will still show up the next day. So that's the spirit that you Nigerians have to put in terms of trying to get yourself better leadership and
a good leadership. Yes, that is a good point.
Sister, can I say something?
Yeah. Quickly, 1 minute, and then we'll continue.
Do you know that in Nigeria, have you been to Nigeria before?
Several times. If you watch my videos, you definitely know.
Have you gone to Igbo land, like Igbo tribe? Have you gone to Igbo?
I've been there. I've been to Port Harcourt.
No. Port Harcourt is not like Igbos. You know, Nigeria I don't know how to explain it. Nigeria is too much. Nigeria has a lot of population.
I know why you're going with this conversation. I know a lot about Nigeria. I know you're trying to go to Biafra and things like that, but we're not going to go
not Biafra. Igbos. I'm talking about Igbos, not Biafra. I'm talking about Igbos, not Biafra.
I know they're the business people.
Yeah. You know, Nigeria, I don't know. Nigeria is like I don't know how to put it, but sorry to say that, you understand? We have, we are very smart people, understand?
We know that.
Yeah, we are very smart people. We are behaving like American, black Americans in Nigeria. Whether you stay, if you stay in Nigeria, you notice that very well. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
If you come to in like Igbo land, we are very smart. No matter how like Fulani people are really, ruling Nigerians, Fulani people, Muslim people are ruling Nigerians. We Christians, we are keeping quiet. Understand? If you come to Nigeria, no, Igbo people are very smart people in Nigeria.
I know that, but I don't want us to get like, okay, Daniel, that's gonna be a conversation for another day. But
Yeah,
for
we're
today,
getting
what I
out
would
of
say,
topic.
we don't want to get into religion and tribe and all that.
Let's stick to the
Like
topic,
that
I think.
that is a topic.
Yeah.
That's a conversation
No
that
problem.
Nigerians can solve within. And realistically, Nigeria is still one at this moment. So try to make it work, whether Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, Edo, whatever. Just try to make it work for Nigeria, because if you try to say these people, that is why you'll never be united to create a better Nigeria. So at the moment, since it's already one Nigeria, try to make it work. Find ways like that's an internal conversation. That should be an internal conversation within you Nigerians to find a solution for Nigeria.
For that, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I love you so
Daniel,
much.
it's nice to meet you and to hear your perspective.
Keep your good work. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing so much. God will promote you, seriously. I love what you're doing.
Amen. Thank you so much.
I'm from Nigeria.
Have a good one. Have a good one, Daniel.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel. Okay, so let's get back into the conversation before we go into the Nigerian conversation. Okay, so
I'm ready for my question.
Okay, so when earlier on, for the people who watched like the first 12 minutes or 15 minutes, when I was talking before I opened the conversation for everyone to contribute, this is what I was thinking and this is what I shared. I don't know if you had joined, but I don't think you had joined by that time. But what I basically shared was like, for me, I think for anyone who would love to be successful, and when I look at a number of successful Black business people, they've not limited themselves to just Africa, or because, Africa and all that. So now African Tigress, now the Asian Tigress betrayer.
No, it's Limitless Tigress. Limitless Tigress.
That's why you find the tigers anyway. That's why you find the tigers anyway.
The tigers.
Right?
So you are limitless.
Yeah.
Limitless Tigress.
You find tigers in Asia, don't you?
Absolutely.
That's the only habitat for tigers.
Absolutely.
So for me, traveling here and being here at this moment, I was sharing and I was like, this is like very important, especially for entrepreneurs and people who love business, people who are looking at expanding their business and all that. A lot of even businesses that you see that are successful even in Africa, a good amount of them, they're producing their goods in China because the labor is cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when I was in the US, I did some programs with Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
The books and a lot of things I noticed, they were made in China. Microsoft itself, they were made in China because labor is cheap. So for anyone, I feel like for anyone, any Black person who really, if you're really passionate and truly, if you think you care about Black people and you want to be, you want to be successful and all that, I feel like it's about time for us Africans to move out of our cocoon or whatever that is.
Cocoon, yeah, of course.
Yeah, in order for us to, see opportunities in other countries. I don't know any successful or rich Black person that their business is only limited in Africa and they've never stepped foot out of Africa. But if anyone knows such a person, I would really appreciate to know that such a person, because I'd love to meet them and they tell me how they made it with just limiting themselves to their knowledge and everything they know in Africa. I did have interviews and conversations with a number of successful business people in Africa, some who relocated from abroad and set up business in Africa. But basically, you'll realize that a lot of the businesses they set and why they are succeeding is because of the knowledge that they got on the other side.
Absolutely.
That is why they are able to transfer that and set up successful businesses in Africa. So for me as an African, I think it's also nice and good for me as an African to just also go out there, gather knowledge of some skills and some businesses or whatever that I can transfer to Africa. So I know you are one of successful business people.
Sure.
So I would love to know you are a Black man, an African American man in the US and all that, very good, successful in your businesses and all that. I would want you to, what's your take on that?
Yeah.
I don't know, do you have businesses outside America?
I do.
Or
I do.
Businesses also only in Africa?
Definitely. No. Listen, let me tell you something. This is a really great topic. Anybody that's in a situation to where they're thinking of starting a business, you got to think global. You have to. I used to work at Tesla. I worked for Elon Musk. Okay. I used to be a global sustainability manager. So I used to travel around the world for Tesla. I learned in China. I've been to China probably 20 times. And I learned from the vendors in China that most of damn near 80% of the items that we sell in the United States are made in China. Now, I didn't know it was so high. So I started thinking about this. So when I started my business, I'm in the sustainability business. I actually make, we do a bunch of different things, but we actually have containers that are made in China. So I had to go to China to get the specs made from them, just like everybody else. And my focus at that point, when I realized it was like this global thing, I said to myself, why don't I do business in other countries? Like what's going to stop me from doing business in Cambodia? Actually, before COVID, I had a spa in Cambodia. That's why all the problems you were having in Cambodia, I felt so bad for you. I know people over there. I know millionaires. I know Senate people over there. I mean, I know people, so you should have talked to me. But Vietnam, the Philippines, Mexico, Colombia. I have businesses set up in every one of those countries where, some are making money, some are not making money. Some are, I just invested. So we're looking to get the return in. But my point is, I'm not afraid to invest in a country as long as I find someone I can partner with that I trust. Anybody that's sitting, and I say, you said cocoon, in your cave, in your home or whatever, you're watching this. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, take a chance to say that you're a sellout because you're outside Africa and you're going to these different countries. You're an ambassador. You got to understand. The gentleman said, what they teach here in the United States about Africa. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I was taught nothing as an African American. My father was Nigerian. I was taught nothing about Africa. Anything I saw in Africa was some movie, Tarzan, or whatever it is. So to get people like African Tigress out there speaking for Kenya, letting the world know that it isn't some backwards country, that desert where there's starving children everywhere, which again, that's the impression a lot of people have with the world. To have an ambassador like that out there talking about Kenya, a businesswoman, you wouldn't want, if you want Kenya on the map, Africa on the map, you need to get the best people out there to speak for the country, not these crazy individuals that you see on, that are speaking negative about Africa. I'm talking about good people. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have a very successful business, multi-million-dollar business here in the United States. I plan on expanding outside of the United States. And it's a business model, a business plan that when I left Tesla a few years ago, I said to myself, I got to get out. I can only do so much here in the United States, just like business people in Africa, business people in Asia, that you can only do so much business. There's only so much, there's so much competition. What I do is a little bit different. So there isn't as much competition in these countries. And that's why I say you find your niche. If you're looking to start a business, if you're looking to change the world or whatever it is, you find your niche, and if you grow inside your country, fantastic, but do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to leave your surroundings, your environment, to try something. You know, the worst thing that people can do is have a dream and don't do anything about the dream. Don't try to achieve the dream. I have this thing called DPX, dream, plan, execute. I'm telling you, if you got a dream and you see other people doing things, don't be jealous. Don't hate on those people.
Amen.
Support those people. Be part of you see them doing great things. You see African Tigress, you see all these other YouTubers out there doing it. There is no difference between African Tigress, me, the guy down the street. You can do it, but don't hate, man. Don't hate. Be positive. People want to be around positive people. The reason why I was successful in my career, I'm gonna be right now, I'll be honest with you. And it's so funny you guys talked about degrees. I don't have a degree, guys. I dropped out of college. I dropped out of college because I felt like that I had so much that I wanted to get done when I was young. Because again, being half Nigerian, I wanted 5 or 6 jobs. And that's my take on Nigerians. We work 5 or 6 jobs. Okay, I have no problem with that. But my thing is that when I dropped out of college, I dropped out because I was chasing processes. I was chasing, the ability to take care of my family right now. I knew what I was doing. Now, all my kids went to college. They graduate from college. They took a different path that I did. But my thing is that if you're sitting there and you're watching me, you're watching African Tigers, you're watching all the YouTubers out there, and you have any hate whatsoever in your heart, that tells me that you're limiting your ceiling on what you can accomplish. That means you are just saying, hey, you know what? I'm only good enough to do things in Africa. I'm not good enough to do things around the world. And that's crazy. We are, and I say Africans, African Americans, Africans in general, we are the most powerful people in the world, man. If Africa got together, all the nations got together, dude, we would blow. I mean, you would take over the world. There'd be nobody with all the resources, the individuals, the money that's there, the know-how, the brainiacs are there. Nobody could touch Africa. So that's why I say my take on that, African Tigress, is that if you are limiting yourself, not, and criticizing and not putting yourself in a position to where you could better yourself by taking a chance like you did, like I did, like you guys did, like you guys are doing, like the YouTubers are out there, then you should just sit back and be happy, but don't criticize. Don't be negative. That's crazy. You're just making your people look bad. And that's not right. That is the worst thing that you guys can do. And like I said, people want to be around positive people. If you want to make it in life, that's one of the reasons why I've been able to achieve the level that I've been able to achieve. Sit next to Elon Musk, to look him in his face. They have to answer to him every 2 weeks. My little report that I have to do on my group every 2 weeks. It was not because I got an MBA. It's not because I went to school for 8 years. It's not all that. It's because of me being able to get shit done when I was that little guy out there hustling. In my little Nigeria, didn't realize it was a Nigeria that was making me do it. But it was me out there hustling, and that's my take on that.
Yeah,
Right.
and also having faith and
Thank
pushing
you so
yourself and
much.
putting yourself in certain situations that you're supposed to put yourself in situations that you're gonna achieve great things. You're gonna associate yourself with all key people, only quality people, and taking risks.
Yes, taking
All
risks.
right. Yeah.
Taking risks.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for sharing that. And,
my pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime.
I wanted to endorse something he said, right? That's when I started.
So you can go ahead, and then we're gonna hear from Xoxo Nation.
I was telling people I went to this program in Kenya and I failed badly in the exam, right? Because I had to do my high school in 2 years. I didn't go to school like any other. No, I went to my high school when I was like in my 29 and 30. You understand? Because my life was so bad, but I needed that certificate to get my passport, my visa to come to the United States. You understand? So I had to go back and start my education from 4th grade when I was like 26. I did a crash program until I got my elementary school class 8 in Kenya. I got my KCPE, and then I hustled again. That time I used to sleep in a church basement. I have nowhere to stay.
Wow.
Selling second-hand clothes in the street.
Wow.
And I went to a program that in Kenya we call it Gumbaro, like the GED. So it's really pathetic because it's, you know, like sometimes it's also, I did my high school Form 1, Form 2, and Form 4 and Form 3 in 2 years. You understand? I was determined to get that certificate. I didn't get the best grades because I'm doing a crash program, but God is not a respecter of person. He saw my determination. I put my head, and the moment I got that certificate, a door to come to the United States opened, and bam! These days I travel with the United States.
I love it.
I need to give you my Kenyan one.
I'm gonna travel proudly with this. I work, like you're saying, I don't have that high school, I don't have a degree, but I'm working as a software engineer. I'm working with very sharp mind. I work with Apple. I work with Samsung. I work with LG. I work with you guys before these phones reach to you. They've already gone through my hands. Like now I'm testing some new product that is not out there yet. You understand?
Yes.
Before you guys even see it, before you get the specs of it, before you get these little kids from the streets of Nairobi who used to hustle, stealing from people and all that. But the life here, that education, just simple education, GED program has opened up my mind. And that's what we are saying, African traveler, African Tigress. Like, you are not a sellout. When you get out here, then you learn something that is not there. But I know one day I'm going to implement this. I believe God before I go to the grave. I'm going to implement these to empower the young people and tell them the fact that you failed in high school, the fact that you only have an elementary school education, it does not mean you've been checked out of life. It doesn't mean it's the end of life. One of the biggest company I work for, FedEx, the logistics. The guy didn't even finish high school. He did GED, but he was the president of the company. I'm not saying education is bad. Some form of education is good, but it doesn't mean you've been written off out of life. And I like the fact that you work for Tesla. Lord Jesus. Hey, I arrest my case.
Hey, listen to this. I was the fourth highest at the time when I worked there, fourth highest African American in the company at that time. There wasn't anybody. There was one VP. There was one VP, 2 directors, and then myself. When I started,
bachelor's degree.
No, true.
That's what's up, man.
But you're gifted. You're blessed. You go getter. It doesn't mean
get shit done, man. That was our group. Our group when I first started at Tesla. It's just a true story. When I first started there, I started as a consultant. I said, listen, I'm gonna save you guys $10 million. They're like, what? I said, I'm gonna save you $10 million. I knew that they were getting screwed on the metal recycler. When it was all said and done, my first year, I made them $17.8 million.
That's the Nigerian genes right there.
And then they offered me a job. Hey, listen, they offered me a job that I did not want because I did not want to work for anybody. I had my own consulting business. No. I literally tried to negotiate a percentage of the cost savings that I could bring back to them, and they said no go. And so I ended up working with them. I said, listen, if you allow me to build my team, you allow me to bring my people in, you allow me to get the budget that I need to do all the things I do, then I'll take the job and pay me good money and stock options. We're good. And they gave me everything that I wanted. I lasted 4 years there, which let me tell you, working for Tesla, that's like dog lights, man. That's like 30 years working there, but it was amazing. No. And that's everything you just said right there, brother. Everything that you said right there. I had people who had advanced degrees. I had people that barely graduated from high school, but I made sure that I put everybody in the right place to succeed. to succeed. That's the key. When you're a manager, you find the right people and you put them in the right place to succeed. It doesn't matter about your background. I was homeless as a kid, man. We were poor. Hey, I didn't grow up, guys. I grew up very, very poor, guys. Okay, I did. So I didn't grow up like some of these rich cats that were above me. I had to struggle. Our family struggled. But what you just said right there, brother, that's the epitome of how an individual can start at the bottom and work their way up to the top, and don't even think twice about it.
Yes,
Seriously.
sir. Yes, man.
Wow,
You really lifted me up.
I feel like I was
Good
on
stuff.
a TED talk.
Real talk, bro,
That's
man.
a
I
TED
didn't
talk.
even know that.
Wow.
Anyway, so I think we've had Zoc Nation in the background for so long. So let's hear from Zoc Nation.
Zoc
You can
Nation,
unmute
what's happening,
yourself.
babe?
I don't know if you can hear me, Zoc Nation. Unmute yourself because you've muted yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, good evening from here. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Zoc.
Looking good.
Loud and clear.
All right, okay. Nice to be here once again. Actually, I just joined and I saw the headline. That's why I joined, and I don't know if I could contribute on that because I think African Tigress betrays Africa promoting Asia. So actually, I must say that I watched one of your videos about your immigration trying to cross from, I think, Cambodia to Laos, if I'm correct. Yeah, I watched the video and I felt so bad because I've been in your position, in the same position before. No? You know, some borders, when they try to cross some borders, you know, holding an African passport. I'm from Africa, actually. I'm in Nigeria. So if you're trying to cross other Asian countries, especially, let me use Asian country as an example because I've been to some Asia. So I've had that experience so well. It's so pathetic in the sense that when they try to cross, they will first of all scrutinize you, like they'll make sure that they keep you aside and pass every other passengers that you arrive with the same time. Then after they will try to, you know, ask you questions, investigate, you know, interrogate and all that, trying to know what your aim of coming to the country, and they will, maybe, I don't know if they search you in Laos and the Cambodia border, but the experience I had, these people had to search every downtown I had with me. You know, to the extent of like asking me to remove my trouser. You know, it's very crazy experience. But when I watched that video, I was like saying to myself, wow, this is like, it's not only like the Asian country I visited in Indonesia, especially Indonesia. So when I arrived in Indonesia, Jakarta to be precise, so I had this ugly experience that I was asking myself, is it because of my passport or what? I have some other European, you know, nationals and the Americans and all that. They had to pass them. But mine, I was like detained for hours. I was detained for hours before they could let me go. You know, I was detained for hours before they could let me go. Trying to figure out one or two things I don't really understand if you ask me. So I felt so bad watching that video. Like, it's a horrible experience, you know. It's a very, very big, horrible experience. Having traveled, crossing from one border to the other, and having an African passport. It's very bad. It's very bad, you know. So when I saw the headline on your this, I said, okay, let me come in and try to chip in this. You know, my little experience I've had is very, very bad, I must say. You know, I'm so sorry about it. I don't know if that's your first experience trying to cross border from one to another, having such experience. But I've had that like 2 times or so. You know, so when I saw that video, I felt so bad. I really felt bad. You know, so and what my advice to African leaders is this: they should try and make sure that they promote our they promote our passport in the sense that trying to make our passport valuable to the international world. Not just, even we have this problem whereby when they travel within Africans as well, you have the same issue. Like if I'm traveling from Nigeria now, going to, for example, Ghana, I will have the same issue when I arrive Ghana. If I should go by road or by air, I will have the same issue. They will try to ask me questions, this and that, this and that. Nigeria to Ghana is a visa free because they are the same West Africa. I will have the same problem within the West Africa. I've not traveled to East Africa or North Africa, but within the same West Africa, I've been to like about 4 countries or so. When I travel, I have the same issue. When they try to cross the border, they will try to like delay you, ask you unnecessary questions within the same West Africa. I mean, I see it as a blood. So
Yeah,
it's
actually,
it's very bad. Like when you are traveling within your same Africa, you have the same issue. When you travel away outside Nigeria, you have the same, or outside your African nation, you have the same issue. When you come back home to your motherland, you have the same issue, and our leaders are not doing nothing about it.
I think
It's so
just like
pathetic,
you
I must say.
mentioned it. Yeah, just like you mentioned. Thank you. Just like you mentioned it, yes, I think for those ones who followed me, have watched my videos over time, of course, I've had issues crossing borders, even in Africa. So I feel like even before we just even complain about treatment outside, I feel like first we need to fix borders, like traveling within Africa. Like the moment we start treating ourselves better, imagine me being, okay, like for instance, he said he's Nigerian, he gets treated maybe badly when he crosses over to Ghana. So how do you expect other people out there to treat them? I mean, we're already showing them how we treat each other. So why would they treat us any better when we're already setting precedent on how they need to treat us? So I've had issues crossing different borders in Africa. So that's why I say the first thing we need to do, I mean, with these issues, we need to sort it out in Africa. Like it should be easy for us to get. I mean, at least across Africa, it should be much easier. Anyway, so thank you so much for your contribution, Zoc Nation. And I want to comment, I think I already addressed these. If you watch the whole live stream, you'll be able to see that I already addressed this. Someone says African Tigress must use money within the African continent or Caribbean only. Period.
No,
Please
sir.
give me that money.
No,
Give me
sir.
that.
But then, and also,
No, they need to give me that money
no
to
man,
spend there.
no man. First of all,
They're not
they make
giving me
it so
the
hard for
money.
you. They make it so hard for you to travel within Africa. I've watched several African big YouTubers, maybe you know one of them, very big YouTuber, and they're trying just to cross from Ghana to another country, and they're
To
like,
Togo.
they gave him a heart, and this is somebody we know all over the world. And then there's another one also who was trying to travel from Mozambique. I follow all of them. I keep an eye on all of you. You know, I collect receipts everywhere. They were trying to cross, and you're going with a crew. That means if I come to your country, I'm coming to spend money in your country. You understand? Because I'm not just coming to beg, and I'm coming to like market your country. And then you're still giving me because we watch you guys like African Tigress and all these. We watch you guys from abroad, and I'm seeing that country in your eyes. What do you see? Like when I see what you're going through there, I'm not gonna come back there. I'm not gonna come visit that country. Hell no. But because now they're giving me a negative vibe already, the way they are treating you. How will they treat me different when they see my name is KENYAN? How will they treat me different? They're still gonna give me the same hardship. You understand? And that's what African leaders and all these agents don't understand. How you treat your own people is a reflection of how your country is. It's easy to, here in America, we say bootlicking, it's a better word to use.
I know the term. I know it.
We see foreigners, as we were talking about the foreign YouTubers coming to give, they are not giving you content that your own people will not give you, even in depth. You understand?
Right.
But we are bootlicking and mistreating our own people, and how you treat your people is a reflection of your nation.
Thank you.
That's one thing. How you treat your people, or like say you work in Tesla, how they treat you, you're going to tell me how Tesla treats their employee, right? If they treat you bad, you are the reflection of Tesla. That's why I can't be wearing FedEx. I can't be wearing, if I have a FedEx brand and I'm not happy to work for, I'm not going to wear it. No, sir.
It's funny. I hear this, and I guess it's the privilege about being an American and having an American name. I've been in 28 countries, ever had any issue whatsoever, and I have not been to Africa. So that's one of the places I plan on visiting in the summertime. I plan on spending like 3 months there, but I've never once ever had any issue at the border. Matter of fact, the one time I had an issue was in Cambodia, And like I told African Tigress, I have a picture of the 4th richest man in the world, a picture of me standing next to him. As soon as I showed it to this guy, he just snapped my passport, let me go. There was no issue whatsoever. So having an American passport, I know it's a privilege. I know it absolutely is. But one of the things that you guys are making some very extremely valid points, because realistically, like when I go to Colombia, they look at me, I'm American, they let me go. And the reason they do that is because they know I'm spending money in Colombia. That's the reason why. The government has told the border people, they told the immigration that when an American comes in, he's clean, there's no issue whatsoever. Do not mess with him. Don't mess with him, because they know we're bringing American dollars in to Colombia. And I think that that's what governments should do to protect their people. They should talk to, like, if you're, I know another YouTuber who went to Cambodia, had the same issue that you had. That government should talk to Cambodia. They should talk to these countries, and they should have a preferred list of countries to go to that you guys could check out to say, hey, you know what, we're really friendly to Kenyans or Africans or whatever it is. And if it truly means you not spending your money in those countries, then that's what you should do if they treat you like that. Because one thing about America, you know what I'm talking about, brother. Americans, if we get disrespected, we ain't playing it. I'm not gonna be at the border in Cambodia and be sitting there having somebody tell me I can't come into the country when I know that there's no issue with my passport and they're messing with me. That's when we call CNN.
Actually, let me say, before you leave, Aaron, let me say this, right? So I've told you guys all my story, and I used to dream one day I'm going to sleep in this Hilton hotel, right? Hilton in the middle of Nairobi city. I said one day I'm going to sleep here. I might be down here today, begging down here in the street and doing whatever I'm doing, but one day I'll sleep in this hotel. I dreamt one day. And then many years later, 10 years in the United States, I book a ticket, and I have a US passport. I book a ticket with the British Airways, and it was fully like like everything, breakfast for Hilton.
Nice.
I called a week before. I told them I'm coming on this date, reservation confirmed. And then my plane lands 2 a.m. in the night. I take Uber, I go to check in. They say, oh, sorry, we sold out. We thought you were not coming. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Now I've already been spoiled. America has taught me I'm the customer. And
exactly.
It's my right. I have my reservation, my confirmation. And just the fact that they saw my last name is a Kenyan, they thought they could just sell my room. I went all like, here if that person you sold, if they have to move out, they have to move out, because I'm a Hilton Owners member, right? I'm a premium member, like up there. I'm saying I'm calling 1-800 number right now.
You got the number,
because I got the number. It's not supposed to be sold out. And then they had to call the manager at night. Wherever he was, he had to come down and resolve it and upgrade me to to a higher level that wasn't sold out. And, they apologize and they So the next day I wake up to go get my breakfast. They stop me at the cafe, where's your room number? Where's your this and this and this? They stop me. And then I'm seeing white people just walking in. They're not stopping white people. I'm like, hold on. Hey, no. Hey, now they get on me, I've already been hanging out with brothers here. I'm like, hey, to them, no, you're not doing this to me. No. I'm like, you know what? I want you to call the manager again. I told them I need to talk. I'm actually checking out. I'm going to another higher hotel. If you're not going to resolve, you cannot treat me like these. They're coming in, white people, they're just walking in. You're not stopping them. Why are you stopping? Why are you discriminating against me in my own country? I'm not going to be discriminated in America, and then I come here, you discriminating against me? Hell no. I went all crazy until the white people came and say, yeah, he has a point. You didn't stop us. Why are you stopping him? The managers had to come again, man. They're like, you were first shift and second shift. You have to know you're right, you have to know you're right, man. We back down too much. And then when they come in, we give them VIP and we just bow down and
see them as demigods.
No.
Yeah, I also
No.
remember. I also remember I had the same experience in Westlands at a certain hotel whereby we had booked, we had done the reservation and everything. And when it came to time when you're supposed to sit down, get our dinner and everything, and then uh, I think the waitress came over and said, "Oh, you guys are supposed to move to from this table because we have white guys who are coming to sit and they have spent a lot of money and this and that and that." And I was like, why is it that we reserved we paid for this table, we booked a week earlier and we did our reservation, and now you're telling us that you're supposed to move? How tell me, explain to me how this makes sense to me. Or do you
Yeah,
think
so
because you are Kenyan you think we cannot be able to afford this hotel, pay this amount of money and eat at the same rate as these people are eating here? Remember, I stayed in that hotel until I saw the receipt that these white people were paying, and it was way below what we had paid in that hotel.
yeah,
Mm,
so
mm,
basically
mm.
that's why I keep saying
That's
they
what
they
I
have
called
to start
the
by. It's
that's what
okay.
I call that people think that because you are European or you are from a Western country, we're supposed to treat you better than your immediate neighbor. Because you think, oh, he's a demigod, from a developed country, all this and that. Bro, treat me good. I treat you good, and then you treat the other people good. And then the society will go on.
I know it's
Yeah,
late for
yeah.
you.
So
So let me just say
yeah,
what I
I'm
was trying
trying
to
to
drive with
wind
my
up.
point is this. What I was trying to drive my point is this. One thing I would take to Kenya is customer service and how you treat the people. Because here, if let's say you have your reservation, if you go to a place, the customer service, the customer is always right. Am I right, bro, Aaron?
1000%, brother.
Yeah, in here, that's one thing I love about it. When you walk into a restaurant, the way they attend to you,
Yep.
that you're a paying customer. You're the one
Yep.
paying their salary. You're the one who's gonna leave the tip, right? And you know, Aaron, like if they don't give you good service, I'm not giving you my tip
Yep. That's
because
it.
they
You get
get most
nothing.
of the money from the
100%.
tip,
No, you
right?
ain't going to
So
nothing.
You get a handshake.
if you give me a good service, I'll give you extra than the percentage, right? So
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
the same concept. We'll never know that until you travel, right? But
Yeah.
now, if you see like
Yeah.
back home, most people who haven't traveled, they don't even tip. They eat
Yeah.
and go, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
first of all, the workers are demotivated and
Yes.
so that's something that would be nice. Like the government should like implement in Kenya. Say when you go to a restaurant, you need to give a certain percentage. And then when they get that, then if I give poor service, I'm not gonna get my percentage, right? So I
100%.
Absolutely.
don't blame it on them either.
Hey,
So
hey,
yeah,
yeah. So
best
I'm going
story.
to allow everyone time to conclude. So, but Aaron, maybe you can say something before I say my parting shot, and then
Sure,
allow
sure,
everyone
sure.
to say their last.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Real quick. Actually, thank you for allowing me to, join this discussion. This is fantastic. I think anything that you do, you're an ambassador, and people who follow you should embrace what you do because there's not a lot of people in this world that have enough guts to go out there and do the things that you're doing. And, it's not just about traveling with you that I notice. You're a business person. You motivate the young girls that are out there to say, hey, you know what, I can do it. And, kudos to you. I respect you tremendously for setting that example, for the girls out there, and the guys too, but really the girls, because, the guys, we got a lot of business people out there, but really, like I said, my daughters have watched you. My daughters watch me, and they're probably watching me right now. And, they know that I'm a girl dad. I got boys, but I'm a girl dad, but continue doing what you're doing. Don't let anything or anybody else stop you. I know you're not going to, but and anybody watching this, hey, follow in this woman's footstep, man. Be an ambassador for Africa, because I know I am going to be. When I get to Africa, that's all I'm going to be doing is singing the graces of how wonderful it is over there, or what I heard. So but keep doing what you're doing, girl.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I appreciate. So I'm
keep
going to
on.
allow everybody time to do their parting shot. But so basically, as we winding up, of course, because it's 4 a.m. Where you see how hardworking I
What?
am, and you're now watching my
What?
videos. Like, you're not
It's
watching my
midnight here in
videos.
Kenya.
Wow. It's only 1 p.m. here. 1 p.m.
It's 4 a.m.
Midnight here
here.
in Kenya.
So what I basically like the all essence of this conversation is to just tell people I feel like sometimes being creators and doing certain content, people tend to box us in a certain category. And I really appreciate the love and the support and everything, all of you, my subscribers. I mean, my content has evolved over time, but I truly appreciate the love. Those ones who've stuck as I'm a human being. Let me tell you one thing that is really permanent in this life is change. So you cannot expect me to be like really exactly the same and do the exact same thing I did 3 years ago. Like for me, I'm
Great
going
point.
through this
Yeah.
life. I'm just trying to live it. Yeah, I may make mistakes along the way, but that's part of the journey and I'll embrace it and, like own up to my mistakes and all that. So part of my growth is for me to do like the things I really want. I appreciate the love, I appreciate the support, but I would also not want like subscribers or followers to put me in a certain box. I don't want to ever feel like I'm in a certain box. I want to be me. I want to create what really makes me happy. Like I want to explore. A lot of people don't know the other side of me. All you know is that, oh, she's traveling, she's creating content, but there's more to me. Only those like maybe who've been close to me or know my other side or the other things I do just beyond content creation really would understand even why what I'm doing is really important. I don't have to show every aspect of my life on social media in the same way I never show like my personal private life on social media, but in the same way, like, so you just have to like really appreciate what I do and, embrace it. And I really am open to welcome and invite those people who are very open-minded about seeing other parts of the world and seeing opportunities in everything. For instance, some of the content I might do, someone might look like, oh, like, there's some content I did share, like, and someone said, oh, for you, your life is all about partying. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. At least someone says I'm not all about. I really actually really appreciated that because see, so one person would look at it if I do a nightlife or whatever video, like, oh, it's a place where people are going. For me, like when I looked at it, yes, it's nightlife, but I've never like, for instance, what I saw, for instance, in Cambodia, in Siem Reap, we have like pub street. I've never seen anything like that. Like the whole street is eateries and they've just made it. They've closed the streets, no vehicles, no cars. There's policeman, security. There's people showing their skills. There's artists. There's everybody. There's pubs. There's food. Like there's everything, clothes, everything that you'll need. You find it there. For me, for you, you can watch it and be like, oh, she's just about night out, partying, pub, and all that. But it depends on what your mindset is. For me, I'm not like really a very party person, but I love that when people see that in me, I really like it because I really, really love it when people see that. But for me, like for someone else will see it like, okay, this is actually an idea. She's showing us something that we've not seen. This thing is working somewhere because I mentioned like, oh, the good thing about this place is the fact that at night, despite like it being midnight or whatever, you find there's security, there's police, the whole street is blocked. And I did research actually, so I don't just travel. I'm not just a traveler. So in Siem Reap, there's Temple. If you've been to Cambodia, you've probably not heard of Temple. Temple is the pub. They have restaurants, they have hotels, they have clubs, they have boutique. So you notice the whole street is Temple, this Temple, this Temple, this Temple, this club. And when you go out of the streets, they even have a supermarket. So I did research. This was actually a business that was started by two brothers. And so when they started it, if you're very keen, you notice if when you go to this temple, sometime you'll go to the next restaurant. The next restaurant may be called Hot Plate or something. But then you'll realize the menu is the same and there's just some sort of similarity. So you come to realize like, basically the whole street is basically kind of owned by the same brothers. It's just two brothers owning the same street, just with multiple businesses that have named different things. But when you're very smart, I did research about these people and how they've like really, because I noticed I'm seeing temple this, temple that, temple boutique, temple this. And then I noticed even some businesses, they still the same two brothers who own the business, but they've called it different, something else, something different. So for me, like as much as I travel, I'm having a good time. I really enjoy to travel. I love to see the world. It makes me so satisfied. Like for me, when I stay in a place like 6 weeks, I think 6 weeks is the maximum I've stayed in a country at one go. I feel sick. So I'm not going to. I feel sick. I become restless. I become less creative. I become unproductive. So for me, like the truth is, if you're following me, I'll always keep traveling. I'll always keep traveling. So if you're gonna follow me, if you're very open-minded, if you really want to see the world, if you wanna do consultation, opportunities, and all that, I've had people reach out to me, especially textile industry. There's lots of these brands, the Zara's, the Gucci's, and all that. A lot of textile industries are making products from Cambodia.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A
Yes.
lot of these
Yeah.
things, a lot of these textile companies, all these Gucci's that you pay premium for and all those things. These things are just made in Cambodia, here in Asia, Southeast Asia. I've heard, but I've not been to Indonesia, but I've seen it in Cambodia. In Africa, for instance, there's a lot of ladies who are doing the wigs, the hair, and all that. And Cambodian hair sells like really expensive in Kenya. I did even go all the way to the factory. Like I did go to one of the factories of how they're making these human wigs and all that. Because realistically, in as much as we'll be like that, very many women are wearing wigs. Very women are wearing that human hair and all that, the wigs and all that. Like I did see actually how they stitch it and all that. I got their contact on how, even if you want to import, they ship to different parts of the world. So like it's all about the mindset. For me, I'm not just traveling for fun. I'm traveling, yes, I'm showing you places and all that, but your mindset is what will determine on how you see my travels and all that. And for me, I'm like really very interested in like really attracting a community of people who are very interested in seeing the world and seeing opportunities. And if someone wanted to see like, you know, like a consultation or ask about businesses and opportunities in other countries and all that, I might not be able to feature everything, but I'll try the little that I can. But if someone is really interested in that, they can really reach out to me. I'm always like, I try to be, in as much as I'm a very busy person, I try to be as available as possible. So basically, that is my take on it. Do I regret coming to Asia? No. Will I stop? No. Will I go to other places? Yes, I'm going to go to Europe.
Good.
I'm going to go to the
Good.
Caribbean. I'm going to go to America. I'm going to go to...
Good.
How about
I'm even going
America?
to go to Antarctica. I'll take you
Yes.
to Antarctica.
Yes.
We have to see the
Yakutski.
opportunities that exist in Antarctica.
That's right, baby. That's right, baby. Yeah.
That's the spirit.
Yes.
That is the
Yes,
spirit,
sir.
man.
All right, but basically, I truly appreciate the love. I truly appreciate the support and everyone who really supports my journey. So I'm
Gotcha.
going to be winding this up. So I'm going to allow everyone to wind up. We have someone on the background, so I'll allow you, the last person, to speak as we wind up. So let's hear from Samuel Travel and History to wind up as we ending this conversation. And we'll be trying to do more of these live streams again.
You need to. Yes.
Lynn, or African Tigress. No, let me call you Limitless Tigress, if you allow me to. Thank you so much for giving me this platform or this chance to have this conversation with these great minds and share what we really need to share, because there is a lot of we can speak and others we cannot be able to speak because it's beyond our level and everything. But it's a global thing. It's something that maybe we can share more often and talk about it, change the mindset of the people and see how it's going to go. So for those maybe who don't know me, I'm Samuel Travel and History, and I have a YouTube channel that is Samuel Travel and History. I try to focus on history and travel because that is a big part of me is Samuel. So thank you for inspiring us, African Tigress. I've been following you since maybe the Egypt trips. I can't even remember it since that time. So Aaron Dante, Straight Talk with Aaron Dante, that is the name that I know.
That's me.
AK, Radam Boss, Ekong. We have seen each other in these streets quite often. So I think I don't have much to say, but I would like to share to your community, maybe our community, because I'm in this community right now, is that you should not enclose yourself in a cocoon and just think that because you are in Africa, you're not supposed to travel to Europe, or maybe you're not supposed to travel to Asia, or maybe to another continent. Take a risk. Go out there. Take what you're supposed to take from this world, because it's a big world and it offers everything and you cannot take everything. Take what you're supposed to take, execute it, and see where this world is going to go, because everyone is here to make money, have experiences, explore the world, and live a good life. As much as sometimes you might have limits or maybe some hindrance, but it's all about us taking the risk, going out there, making this world a better place for us to live, and practicing on equality people, because that is the biggest thing that you can do to yourself to become a resourceful person to yourself and become a resourceful person to the society. That is for me, and thank you so much. And guys, remember to get me to 1K. Get me to 1K.
Subscribe. So especially for those ones who have issues about me traveling Asia. So
I'm gonna get you.
Samuel Travel and History is traveling in Kenya. He's showing you different parts. So if you're live and genuine, or if your focus is, Samuel is here. Go ahead, support him. I mean, that's one way to show.
I got you, brother.
Yeah.
And
there is I have premiered before I came to this live stream. I actually was from work and I had to rush home and come and see, hey, African Tigress is going to go live. Let me premiere this video.
The Mambrui. I saw it.
I imagine we have only 3 places in Africa where the desert meets the ocean, and one is in Kenya. The other one is in Namibia. The other one I can't remember where it is, but I have to go and visit it. If I didn't open myself to exploring the world, I think I could be just saying, oh, I only know Nairobi, I only know Mombasa. When I was coming to Mombasa, I sold everything I had in Nairobi, like the way you did, and you bought one ticket and you went away. That's the same thing that I did. And I said, let me open myself to go to Mombasa and see what Mombasa has to offer. Maybe when I'm off from Mombasa, maybe I might go to another country and see what that country has to offer, because I want to get the experience. I want to get the exposure, so that by the time I'm going to settle down and say, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this, I'll have opened my mind to so many things and so many ideas and to so many minds of people who I meet out there. And when I bring all those ideas into one, I might come up with something very great, other than, the only thing that I know is maybe being a lawyer and this and that, and I cannot experience other things out there. That's just closing yourself in something, like you're maybe in a pebble, like, okay, I'm supposed to stay here, I'm not supposed to move from here, and you're not going to see the world as it is. You're not going to be able to collect ideas, collect new things out there, and be able to become like, okay, I've collected ideas. Then the next thing is to execute them and see how things are going to play. So don't be afraid to take risks and go out there and see what the world has to offer.
All right, thank you so much, Samuel. We appreciate.
Can you guys put your link in the comments so I can subscribe to you guys' channels? I want to subscribe to you.
Okay, I drop mine. Can I check out? I'll be real quick. Check out.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right. So first of all, Caesar, I want to appreciate it. I appreciate you for the opportunity, for the chance you let me come up here. And I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. And I want to keep it brief. There's just one thing I want to say. Like when I saw the title and how we talk, I've seen you faced more challenges. Like you face more people talking negative stuff. And one thing I've come to learn about life is this. Sometimes if we get too comfortable with only the positive, with only the positive vibe, like positive criticism, sometimes that can be your worst enemy for growth and development, right? Sometimes we want to surround ourselves with just people. Oh, Samuel, you're doing a good job. Samuel, when you're not stretching yourself, we just want, hey, good pat on the back. Good job, good job. They are not, we just want positive. But when people criticize you in a negative way, sometimes it's like
It pushes you.
depends something inside of you, and you're trying to prove them, you know what, I can do this. So I have come to learn to always appreciate both positive and negative, because if somebody didn't say that, we'd not be here discussing this, right? So something
Yeah.
positive came out of it. I met my bro here. You know, maybe I was feeling, oh man, now I don't have a bachelor's degree. It just went beyond. It just went beyond what you are discussing about. Could be somebody there in the chat who's feeling like, oh man, I didn't go to school, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, I can't do nothing. Now you've touched and spoken, it's changed somebody's perspective about life and changed their mind. So
Yes.
I like that the fact somebody said it, because when they said it, then something came up about it, and we have a whole conversation. You inspired somebody with your story. Samuel has inspired. I've inspired people in the chat. Somebody's inspired because of somebody who said something negative. So in this whitey street, open up your mind, embrace negativity.
Absolutely.
When they talk about you, people get curious. Oh, who is this guy?
Yes.
Who is it?
Yes.
Let me go check him out. Let me go check him out. And then you realize your numbers are going up. Don't whine about
as
that's very
as
true,
long-
because when I was starting YouTube, I wasn't Instagram famous. I wasn't anything. Like I wasn't nobody. Nobody could talk about me. But look, these days I have people make content about me. I don't care. Like they're talking about me.
This has always been my motto, guys. People will never talk bad things about you if you're not doing something and you are nobody in the community. You will not talk about a crazy man in the streets, right?
Yeah.
You will not. Michael Jackson, we criticize Michael. They say they're always trying to find something about you because you're great, because you're making a difference in life. Just know when they say it, it's because you matter. You're a very important person. You're a VIP. And that's all I want to let you know. You face was, and you're going to grow. As you grow, when you get to 1 million subs, it's even going to be worse.
It increases. I know that. Like so the bigger you grow, the more
much is given. Jesus said, much is required.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Too much is given.
Absolutely.
The more God gives you, the more criticism, the more enemies you will have, and the more they come. God raises a standard. He lays a table before us in the presence of the enemies, not in the presence of your friends.
Brother.
God doesn't lay a table for you in the presence of your friends. No. The Bible says he lays a table in the presence. The more enemies you have, the more tables the Lord is gonna lay the table. Enemies, keep on coming, enemies. Come on, enemies.
Bring it, baby boy.
Come criticize me, enemies. Enemies, come on.
With it.
Because there is something that is in me that is good.
Because the more they
That's
come,
why you're criticizing
the more
me.
the Lord will lay a table.
Uplift you.
Table. You will eat nyama choma. And there's talking. God raises another table. They will see you. Come on, hallelujah. Let's do church here.
Hallelujah, brother. Amen. I love it.
You made our night, man. This is
love
that brother, man. Love that brother.
African Tigress. You see, if that one person didn't talk about that, do you think we could be here?
What did Jesus call Peter when Peter was trying to stop the soldiers? What did Jesus call Peter?
What did he call Peter? What did he call Peter?
When the soldiers came to arrest Jesus, Peter pulled the sword and cut one of the soldiers' ears, because I will not let them touch you, because he's being protective of him, because you think that's your friend, right? What did Jesus tell him? Get behind me, Satan.
Get behind me, Satan.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
When Judas betrayed him with a hug, Jesus asked him, my friend,
my friend,
are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? Guys, sometimes the people you think are your friends, sometimes they're your worst enemy for progress.
The worst
Love the people who are
backstabbers.
selling on you, man. Love the people who are criticizing you negatively. Sometimes the ones who are patting your shoulders could be their worst intention. But those
that's true.
You're
right.
You're right.
You're right.
Love on them. The more they come, hallelujah. Go check out EKKI Media, Radam Boss. They call me in Jamaica Radam Boss. That's my Jamaican name, Radam Boss in Jamaica. And then lately I'm doing a challenge called Ikoga. But original intention of my channel was to inspire the homeless, the people who've given up on themselves because you are born in a poor background, because you're born in a poor family, dysfunctional family, because you're homeless, because you're an orphan. Because I've been an orphan since I was 9. I've been alone since I was 9. But that was not the end of life. My channel is to encourage you and let people know. Look at me now, man. I work with engineers. I work with like big companies. I've employed American in this company. Tell them you can get the job, white, black, whatever, Indians, Asians, you can get the job. I had the power, but I was born down there.
My brother.
It does not determine where you're from. It does not determine the past in your family, who you know in the government, your situation, right now people are suffering. But guys, hold on and hang in there. Lift up your head and keep pressing on. There is hope for the living. That's the Bible. For there is hope for the living. Better a living dog than a dead lion, because there is hope. As long as you have life, you can travel like our African Tigress here, our role model. I want my girls to be like you. Bring them enemies. Come criticize our sister here. Come criticize. The more you do it, the more. Did you see what happened when you did that video in Zimbabwe? The government officials came, right? They came. You are given VIP entry. Like, let them come.
And right now, if I go to Zimbabwe, like
you get VIP.
Zim.
Yes,
she's a queen.
I'm telling you guys in the chat, love the negative, embrace negative criticism and everything.
Bro, you coming? Hey, brother, you're coming on my show. I want you on my show, brother. The two of us.
I'm gonna definitely link you up.
Seriously, you're coming on my show. The two of us. Hey, we gonna talk for 5 hours, man. We gonna have a 5-hour show between me. Nothing but love, baby.
All right, man. Bring it on. Bring it on. Let's do this, man. I appreciate you. Nice meeting you, man. I appreciate
nice meeting you too, man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, thank you.
I appreciate, love you. Big up yourself, everybody in the chat. Check me out. EKKI.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
And if you watch my yoga, it's just being comic, right? I'm trying to do yoga. It's just comical.
You're good, man. You're good. You're good.
You're good.
You're good. You're good. Okay.
Yeah, so I've dropped the link in the comments. So I've dropped the link to EK's channel. So we're going to allow Aaron to wind up. And yeah, I'm really grateful. Like this, today I wasn't planning to do this live stream. I've been editing, but have you ever like done something and then you keep doing it and then you just like, okay, this video, you just don't even feel like publishing it, and then you just keep doing the same thing, but you just feel it, motivated, making progress, and like you can't like really pinpoint exactly, like you had a plan, like today this is what I wanted to achieve, but then anyway the video is gonna come up tomorrow. I didn't finish it. In fact, rarely do I sleep or doze off during the day. But today, when I was like really still editing that video during the day, I'm like, why am I dozing off? I never doze off or sleep during the day. Once I've woken up, I never doze off. It was about 3, 4. I'm like, this video needs to be up by 8 p.m. 8 because I post them Cambodian time, 8:30. But then I said, okay, I'm not gonna post that video. I'm just gonna step out, do something. When I come back later, I'm going to do a live stream, maybe or not. Even this live stream was not like really very certain about it. I just didn't have motivation. But like having this conversation and interacting with you all, you've really, like, I love the energy. I love the energy.
You see how your spirit has been lifted. Now you can go to sleep when you feel motivated, you feel good, you feel proud about yourself and everything that you're doing,
Yeah, I really love the energy.
Absolutely.
Okay, Aaron, we can let you wind up.
So guys, if you guys want to, I always tell people when you're having a bad day, call me up. My channel is about motivation. My channel is about showing people that they can do anything as long as they stay positive. As long as they're positive about it, man. There's so much negativity out there, and I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see some people making up some stories about me and some ridiculous stuff, man. You know, it's like you try to do something good and then somebody twist it into something bad. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't faze me whatsoever. But really, guys, I have a channel. I'm actually on Sunday. I'm gonna do one weekly because my subscribers said they want me to do like a weekly one. So I'm gonna do a weekly one, 8 a.m. here in California, 7 p.m. in Kenya.
In
So
East
then you
Africa.
gotta figure it out. But check me out. I'm usually high energy. Nothing usually gets me down. I had so much tragedy happen in my life, and growing up, I'm dyslexic, so I don't always get people's names right. You know what I mean? I have no problems making fun of myself, but I'm a serious guy about straight talk. No bullshit. I don't sugarcoat nothing. It is what it is. If you're good,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you're
Call
good.
it what it
If you're
is.
bad, I'm gonna say you're bad. There ain't nothing, I'm not afraid to tell the truth, and that's what Straight Talk's about. And I thank African Tigress. Thank you so much. I've met her 6-7 months ago. She's been definitely a mentor. Getting into I'm only been in the game for like 6 weeks, guys, 5 weeks. So I'm
No
fairly
way.
new here. Yeah, I think I
Really?
started in December 20 something, December whatever it was. So this is
Trying
brand
to
new
find the
stuff to
real
me.
name.
But yeah, I know. Yeah, I had people making fun of my name, so I had to kind of modify a few things, but it's okay. But again, thanks for the platform. The brothers you guys, Samuel, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And your name is Elkie is Elkie
EK.
Media?
EK.
EK.
EK Media.
EK.
I just
Ki.
followed
Ki.
EK.
Like the Kia? The
Kia.
Kia, the car?
Yes.
Kia.
Kia.
E at the end.
Okay. Well, I'll get it. I'll figure it. I'll figure it out. But I followed you now. I'm definitely gonna be looking for you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Anytime we can get positive individuals together in a chat like this, man, like I said, I could talk for hours. But African Tigress, thank you again so much for allowing me to contribute to this topic. And people, stop hating, man. I love this woman. This woman is
Yeah,
amazing. She
love is
can
free.
teach you
Love is
so
free.
much.
Love is
Stop
free.
hating.
African tiger.
Thank
African
you.
Aaron,
Yes, sir.
I have been hesitant to text you because sometimes when I'm at work, maybe I put my phone, put on my earpods, and then I listen to everything that you Straight Talks with Aaron Denti and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'll have to text this guy one day, but I've been hesitant. I'm like, okay, what am I going to tell this guy? But let me find the right words to tell him. But
Hit
today,
me up,
because you
baby.
have met on the live stream, at least now I think I've gotten. Maybe it's going to be easier for me because I've watched you with Burundian Traveler, Judy,
Do it again.
Marwa. I've watched so
Hey,
many shows where you are.
IG.
So
IG.
yeah,
Hit me up.
yeah,
I'm telling you, the people who know me, if you hit me up on IG, I usually get you right back, or I'll get back to you. I return every text I get on IG. It's the best way of reaching out to me, guys. IG.
Okay,
I'll
so
talk to you.
I've dropped the link to Aaron's channel. You can go check out his YouTube channel, Aaron Dante Talk, Straight Talk with Aaron. So you can find the link. I've dropped it
Check
in
me
the
out.
comments.
Thank you
go
so much.
subscribe, and we're planning a live stream in the near future. I know I keep
Yes.
postponing it, but my schedule is quite
Yes.
erratic, but it's okay. I know we're gonna do that.
No, we
So
got it.
thanks
We'll
to-
do it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
thanks to everybody who showed up. Thanks to all of you, my panelists. I didn't know you were gonna show up today. I was just like, okay, let me just go there and say what I need to say. But you made you made it lively, and I truly appreciate that. EK, thank you so much. I forgot to mention it because we were still talking. Thank you so much for the super chat. I
Yes,
forgot to
blessing.
mention it. Thank you. I appreciate. So thanks
Karibu.
everybody, and I hope we meet now. I'm even feeling like I need to do more of this live stream.
Let's go.
of this.
Come on, baby.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
go. Let's
go,
do it.
go.
Let's
Let's
do
go.
it.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Yeah.
I'm
You'll
ready.
be chasing us away. You'll be
This
kicking
is
us
the
out of the
spirit.
house.
This is the way.
You see, we just
this is
started
the
with
way.
Aaron. Now we want to. You can leave us. We go on. You can go.
Yeah,
Let's
I
now
know.
you
Now
feel
let's
like
go.
you
The
want
three
to
of us.
continue.
African Tigress, go
Yeah.
ahead. We gonna continue doing it. You go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Aaron,
Find us keep
Aaron,
going.
I'm waiting for those Black History topics on. Is
Yes.
it on Sundays?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm a
Sunday.
big
Yes. Study Black History.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell some stories. Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm a
Yes.
history lover and I'm a history vlogger. So I think we're gonna get some points from here and you're going to get from my point of view.
I love
You
it.
know, you're
I love
yeah,
it.
you are there and
Definitely,
I'm
brother.
here, so we have to exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You
So
got it. Okay.
thank you.
All right,
I think
thank you
maybe
all. Thanks to all my panelists, and I'm gonna end the live stream.
need,
So
need
have
to
a
sign out.
lovely.
Need to
It
sign out.
is 4:30 in the morning.
Bless
So
up
let me go and
yourself. Bless
slay.
up. Bless up. Everybody in the
So
chat, bless up yourself. We love
And
you
you know,
all
I'm
in
just
the
out in
chat.
the street. I'm just
Blessing.
out in the street. You can hear vehicles passing like
Man,
it's
if you
fast,
was in
fast.
Oh,
Nairobi right now,
like this, like the live. Everybody hit some likes. Likes.
Yeah, like as you're
Like.
leaving. Yeah, I'm just out in the street. So like I can't do this in Nairobi at this time.
I
In
don't
the
know.
streets
Don't
here with people
Aaron, when
driving
you
their
go to
motorbike.
Nairobi, don't do that in the
Don't do
street.
this.
don't
Don't do
do
what?
that, sir.
See,
As
you see, like
or
that's just
maybe
a street.
Nope, don't do it. She's the only one. Perfect.
it's
She's the only one. It would have been over a long time ago.
that's why we
It would
call
have
you
been
the
over.
African Tigress because you're fearful. You're in the streets by yourself.
No, it's because I know, like, I would be scared if I was in some country, because when they see you with a laptop and you set, they're going to organize and then they'll come on a motorbike, snatch it, and go
Snag it.
away.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
safe
but
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Very
pretty
safe.
safe. Like people are just driving, going up and down, and I'm good.
Minding their own
All
business.
right, guys.
I
Bye
have to shout
bye.
out
I
as
gotta
I'm
go.
winding this.
One
Bye
love.
bye. Bye bye.
See you
Bye
the
bye.
next one.
One
Bye bye.
love.
Big up yourself.
One
Bye.
love.
One love.
Okay,
Big up.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye,
Big
guys.
up, everybody.
All right.
Saludos. Adios.
Bye. Bye bye. Success Nation, shout out to you. It's been a while since I last saw you in the live stream, but shout out to you. I miss you. We should keep in touch. Okay. I'm going to end the broadcast.